6 on Thursday the 14th. We are in number 462. About 4,000 to be here. What, 3 years?
3 years to get you.
1,500, probably was 2,000 videos.
Over 3,000 videos.
12 million views. Needs to be in the vehicles. They're worse things. Yeah, we're really using this. Go through. Now when I'm playing, things you put through. But that's actually not playing. Check it out, so you're not
See how's the blood. I think.
6 hour-and-a-half train.
Bit of a rush.
One other transport strike. And we're having a size super dry. So 10 euros. What must be about 4 grand just to get this. Right, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is day 2 in Bordeaux and I'm at the tram station where you can see a couple of Chile fans there, about to head to the stadium for our first match of the tournament. Seen a lot of South Africans here, a lot of, well, I mean, we're just on a tram now and there's just Afrikaans everywhere. There's English, which is the main thing, which is very cool to see. But yeah, Samoa versus Chile kick off at 3 o'clock, which is in about 4 hours time. It's about 12 o'clock, so yeah, we're about to head to the stadium now, do a couple of interviews, go and see a lot of the South African fans, get some interviews with some of the Chilean fans, Samoan fans who are out in their colours. Personally, might actually go get a Chile shirt as well. But yeah, stay tuned for my first match day vlog of the tournament. Hello and welcome to Favorite Rugby on Favorite Sports. This is day 2 of the Fair Sports Tour, and we are here in Bordeaux. Samoa versus Chile kickoff is in about just over an hour's time, and as you can see, absolutely pumping here in Bordeaux. Chile definitely seems to have the most fans here. It's a bit of a red army over here, although the Samoan support is definitely starting to arrive. Plenty of South Africans ahead of the game tomorrow against Romania, and I've got a beer, I've got my glasses on, and let's go have a look and see what's going on here. How's it guys? So I've checked in here, sitting here at the photography stand, and yeah, I'm busy watching Chile warm up in front of me. Very cool warm jerseys, by the way. I was actually going to contest to get their jerseys, but the actual warm jerseys are very cool. But yeah, I'm sitting at the stadium, starting to put up. Just by the way, keeping an eye out for the Red Army. A lot of Chilean supporters in for today. It's just an army of red looking around here. The Samoans come out there, of course, as well, but absolutely nothing compared to what Chile have got. And yeah, second ever World Cup game for them. They look the part, a couple of players looking very confident around here. Very cool to sort of see it, and very cool to see how excited the fans are. We spoke to a couple of the fans outside, and you can just see how excited they are to get involved in something like this. I mean, we all know how passionate of a sports nation Chile are, and the rugby doesn't seem to be any different. Very keen to see what Samoa can do here. They should be able to get the job done, but you know, anything can happen in a World Cup. So I hope you guys are enjoying the watch along, and take it soon. Okay, and that is game one. Not the fight in Chile. Fan favorite team, they're absolutely brilliant side. From a people perspective, I mean, I've just left about 25 minutes after the game, it was half an hour after the game. They're still signing autographs, they're still changing their fans, so absolutely brilliant team that definitely has a lot of future. I mean, they were always going to struggle against Samoa, physically wise. It was tough for them to cope. But yeah, that was game one in the bag. Gonna go walk around the village a little bit, see if there's anything. Might get myself a shitty shirt, actually, the way things are going, and then head on home for a watch along before hopefully hitting the streets of Bordeaux later. Hello everybody, Stevie P here from Forever Sports, and I'm here to tell you about BOYLESPORTS, the official betting partner of Forever Sports. Across all of our channels, they are one of the leading betting companies in the world and have recently launched in South Africa with an amazing offering. You can get a 1,000 Rand welcome offer. For the rugby, they are giving you 25% payout boost up to 2,000 Rand on the Springboks winning the World Cup, as well as an extra 50 Rand bet when you stake 250 more on rugby during the Rugby World Cup. It is your one-stop betting shop. That is BOYLESPORTS. Come and join us in the community. Check the links in the description to sign up, get yourself an account, and make sure that you are winning big with BOYLESPORTS. All right, we're outside Bordeaux. There is an hour until kickoff, and you can see it's an absolute sea of green over here. Yeah, and the plan is we're just going to head into the depths of Springbok supporters, chat with a few people, and see what's going on. So let's go and see. Basically, this is what it looks like to be here at Bordeaux. Let's go have a look and find some people to chat to and stuff. And yeah, I mean, as you can sort of see, we're talking about a sea of green. There's Springbok fans on fans on fans on fans on fans. We're going to be asking a few people for some score predictions and just try and find out how many people are actually here from South Africa and stuff, the travellers. So we're going to walk around and we're going to have a look. Hello everybody, hello, how are you? Good. Steve.
Hi, Wayne.
Very nice to meet you.
Hi, Steve.
Gentlemen, how are you? Good. Welcome. Where are you guys from?
Africa.
Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good. Please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from.
I'm Anita, and I'm from Port Elizabeth in South Africa.
Kom here gedaan, yeah. There we go. We've ticked off.
That one, good.
Yeah. My name is Steve, we're from Fair Sports. We are recording over here, so we're going to cover all the multitude of South African supporters. Are you guys all from South Africa? No, you are. Who's got load shedding when they get back? Okay, I want to go stand with you guys. This is my load shedding buddies here. What's impressive, if you ask me, is the fact we've got so many people actually from South Africa bringing the rand over here. We never thought our currency would get this far, but so far so good. No ways!
How you, boy? Hello, Ross. How you doing?
Yeah, very well.
Like
So this is how small of a world it is. Went to varsity with this man who, as you can see, is looking phenomenal. Who dressed you today?
So we're here with a bunch of, there's 11 of us. We call ourselves Bokval.
Bokval.
Bokval. So it's like a stokval. So we've been saving up for 4 years. And now eventually we're here.
Joining the Sea of Green, where are you guys from?
Durban originally.
Durban, yeah.
I'm from Durban as well.
Durban, okay, shame. Sorry to hear that. Got a couple of Durbanites here. I'm from Joburg, so no, we appreciate you. We have to go on holiday somewhere.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's true. So you said originally, where are we now? London. Right. London. But still supporting South Africa, still South Africa through.
Always. Springboks forever.
There we go. And is this your first game for the World Cup?
No, 2. Yesterday was
Samoa versus Chile game. What did we think about yesterday?
crazy. But today it's better.
It's amazing. It's a sea of green, and thank you guys for wearing your colours and bringing out the box. When did you arrive?
We arrived on the 15th.
15. Okay, it's been a while. And when are we leaving?
We are leaving on the 25th, so we're watching the Ireland game.
Ireland game. All right,
Yeah.
cool. We'll see you there. Right, Romania today. Give me a score prediction.
I am going to say 66.
At least 80 points.
At least 80 points. In the game or for us particularly specific? Okay, 80. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we have to match the Irish. They did 82, I think.
70. Yeah, so along those lines.
Yeah, so
Well, if you get 80 points, I did get a bonus point. So.
let's aim for 80.
Do you think Romania scored today?
Yeah, yes, I think so.
To be fair, I think everyone here probably wants them to score actually.
They've got
So,
to at least get a bonus.
yeah,
That
cool.
just make it feel good for a while.
Oh, there we go. Score prediction for today.
Score prediction on my SUPERBRU, I went Hawks by 70, but I'm going to change that because I think the Hawks are going to go 55. 55, we're going to be celebrating a lot of tries. A lot of tries will be celebrated.
Lots of tries, more tries. Does Romania have a chance?
Many tries.
All the tries, eh?
100 out of 0.
100-0, okay. You reckon? 11 tries. We need more than 11 tries. We're going to go past 11. I want 80 points. What do you reckon?
I like barely double digits, so 10 tries.
10 tries. 10
But
tries.
I think just for the spirit of the game, it wouldn't hurt if Romania could score. They've got so much supporters here.
Yeah, I think to be fair, I think we all want them to score 8 tries.
Across the line,
Yeah,
it's fine.
we do.
80-10.
80-10.
Yeah, nothing less than 60, buddy.
Nothing less than 60.
24-13.
Not going to be a popular man later. Right, so 10-11 tries so far is the call. And I bumped a couple of Romanian fans over here. Love the jersey, first of all. How are we? Yeah, come here. Yeah, come on here. We want everybody here. We got everybody in here. Yeah. Coming up against the current world champs. How are you guys feeling?
We are feeling, I think, confident. We want to make a big game to get out of the game like Uruguay last game with France, like heroes. Yeah, it's hard to beat them, but we can be some heroes. We want us to be some heroes there.
I'm actually quite keen to see how Dion Farido's coming on as replacement.
Okay. We must see Marco Verstappen there, you know. Apparently anyone's a hooker these days.
Exactly.
Don't quote me on that, but after you finish here, we'll be invading here. It's a bit of a takeover here. I'm going to come across here. Once you guys have played today, who are you guys supporting in the tournament? Are you guys going to support us afterwards, or is there another team you're supporting?
Depends of the result. Depends on the result. But the European team must win it.
No. Come here to us. You see, come here to us. We'll take you.
Well, you already have a movie, so the European nation needs to
Yeah, we need another movie though. We've got no electricity. It's tough out there. This is the nice thing, I suppose, when it comes to the smaller games, is that there is genuinely no animosity whatsoever. It is very, very relaxed. And yeah, there's a lot of camaraderie. Hopefully that won't change. And look, if the Boks lose, we might see a lot of very grumpy Springbok supporters. Are we bringing it back to Pretoria?
Absolutely.
You reckon?
Absolutely.
Bring it back.
Call it back.
Absolutely.
So you're going to bring it home?
Yeah, definitely.
The World Cup came back to South Africa for another 4 years.
my friend, he said yes.
Okay, there you go. You asked here, Cleese, Ches and Colvin. They've confirmed that the World Cup is coming back to South Africa. So you heard it here first. There we go. Guys, thank you so much. Enjoy the game. lineup, and we all are but James, who in Madrid is now. And green bucket, and there he is. Look at him. Look at him. There's the rain cover ready. Unlike the way. Hello everybody and welcome back to Favorite Rugby on Favorite Sport. And as you can see, it is Paris week. South Africa versus Ireland on Saturday. Welcome to week 2 of the tour, the first official tour long week. We're in Bordeaux, we're now in Paris. We've got 4 days of build up. The Springbok announcement is actually tonight. And come here, join us, subscribe to the channel, and let's go see Paris, shall we? Fun morning. Coming out of the police station. We are finally up doggy there. Yeah, first behind the camera and got photo yesterday, so we're having to sort that out. And late change plans. We're not typically announced tonight, so unfortunately got 2 hours. But yeah, let's go see the Paris. Roads across the street. Don't blow our entire holiday budget on like the Portugal watch. I reckon if we sold all our camera equipment, we might be able to buy like a strap. This is my official audition to become a Nike athlete. By that, I think I'm just visiting the store. And this is why we are here. Get the full selection of our stuff. Bloody floor. My time I'm walking upstairs. Pretty cool though. Come to basically 5-story Nike. This is where it gets dangerous. You see French jerseys. You see lots of different jerseys. You see a lot of Euros. Getting sorted for my next fishing trip. Look, arrived at home going to Loftus in my khaki Air Jordan jacket. There you go, nice. See when you watch the rugby on Saturday morning, and you're sorted. Alright. Let's go see the option film, shall we? This is now my Lecoq 14 edition today. Now see all the rugby stuff.
This is currently where I'm walking. As you can see, I'm actually just taking a stroll literally through the French countryside to go and report on the Box Paris-based press conference. No public transport out here apart from a bus that doesn't go the right way. So having to give it a bit of a leg, I tried to ask a couple of French people for a lift, and both, two ladies and a guy, all three of them shook their heads and said no anglais and drove off. So clocking in some steps. It's a half an hour walk to the press conference. Yes, I do have the camera and tripod and mics on my back, so this is going to be lots of fun. I realise the train's coming in the wrong side.
Hello and welcome to Forever Sports. My name is Reese. I'll be talking to you a little bit today about one of our channel partners, BITDEFENDER. BITDEFENDER is a global leader in cyber security. BITDEFENDER is committed to defending people all around the globe against cyber attacks, as well as to transform people's digital experiences. In the next 6 months, Forever Sports will be covering major tournaments such as the Rugby Championship, the Premier League, the remainder of the Formula 1 season, as well as embarking on the biggest Rugby World Cup YouTube campaign ever. To ensure that these are all a success, it is imperative that the Forever Sports channels and platforms remain uncompromised. And with BITDEFENDER, we can be assured that our cybersecurity needs are being taken care of. To read more on BITDEFENDER, please be sure to check the links in the description of our video. Once again, thank you very much to our partner, BITDEFENDER, for joining the channel. I've been Reese here on Forever Sports. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will start the first press conference with Portugal coach Patrice Legisquet and captain Thomas Appleton. If you'd like to raise your hand, if you'd like to ask a question, a microphone will come to you. We'll open the floor straight away for questions. Thank you. Here in the front row.
Bonjour, Idriss Chaplin pour RNS. Question pour Patrice. Là, tout de suite, à chaud, vous avez plutôt l'impression d'avoir fait quelque chose de grand ou manqué quelque chose de grand?
Très bonne question. Un peu des deux, en fait. C'est un sentiment mitigé. Parce que quand on repense à notre première mi-temps, on se dit que c'est miraculeux de réussir un match nul. Mais quand on voit notre deuxième mi-temps, on se dit qu'on avait ce qu'il fallait pour gagner ce match. Voilà, c'est ça qui est frustrant. Mais cette équipe est jeune, elle a tellement à apprendre. Elle grandit match après match et on voit qu'elle a encore à construire son expérience, son vécu. À ce niveau-là, c'est énorme. Mais bon, ils sont tellement généreux qu'on a envie de leur pardonner toutes les erreurs, tous les mauvais choix, les mauvais coups de pied, parce qu'ils ont défendu la ligne comme des malades en première mi-temps et en deuxième mi-temps, ils ont mis le feu au terrain, quoi.
Tomas, Frisky Isaac, Rugby Europe. I know it wasn't the result we wanted, but what shifted in the second half? What happened after the locker room? What happened with the team?
I think in the first half we were just defending. I think our kick exchange wasn't smart. We were losing. We started against the wind, and that makes a difference. But we were losing every kick exchange, and that made a lot of difference. I think we spent most of first half defending, and as soon as we risk it and we start to play hands, we scored a first try. But yeah, we need to risk it more. We need to play through the hands. We need to play with our strengths, and I think we didn't do it for the first half. I think we grew a lot in the second. I think we galvanized ourselves, but still we cannot give 40 minutes in the beginning to the opponent.
Hello, Patrice. I'd like to ask you if we can know what have you told the players in the halftime, because the difference between the first half and the second half was so big that we really would like to know.
I can't tell you all the words. It wouldn't be polite, but I just said them they had to react because it couldn't be worse after this first half. And the only time we played our rugby, we scored a try. Then they just had to change their attitudes. We were doing stupid faults, stupid kicking game. It was terrible. The only strength was that we were defending our goal line with a strong effort, strong mental. Then that's why we were still existing at the end of the first half. We were still alive.
Et justement, le fait d'avoir fait une première mi-temps aussi catastrophique, on va le dire, aussi difficile, est-ce que vous mettez ça sur le compte de l'émotion ou c'était quelque chose d'autre?
Oui, peut-être que les joueurs ont été rattrapés. J'avais le sentiment après le match du Pays de Galles qu'on ne s'était pas libéré complètement sur certaines actions, certains surnombres qu'on n'avait pas joué à fond. Là, effectivement, je pense qu'ils ont été rattrapés par l'émotion quand ils ont entendu ce stade qui vibrait, qui les supportait. Et je pensais qu'après le match de Nice, on avait complètement évacué tout ça. Et visiblement, non, c'était pas le cas, quoi. Là, quand on est descendu du bus, il y avait tous ces supporters autour, il y avait vraiment ces clameurs. Même pour moi, franchement, j'ai ressenti des émotions et je pense que pour les joueurs, ça a pu jouer parce qu'ils n'ont pas le vécu, ils n'ont pas le vécu de ces situations-là, ces matchs-là. Mais oui, ça sûrement, parce que vu comme on a été fébrile dans le jeu au pied, en touche aussi, enfin, sur des aspects qui avaient été plutôt bons le week-end dernier, c'est vrai que je pense qu'il y a une part de mental, oui.
We'll go to the back and then up to the front next. Yeah.
Bonjour Patrice, Georges Lansens de Sud-Ouest. Bon, vous cherchiez à marquer l'histoire. Ça avait déjà été fait par cette première génération de Portugais qui avait fait cette Coupe du Monde 2007. Là, l'idée, c'était de gagner, mais prendre les premiers points du Portugal en Coupe du Monde. Est-ce que vous avez la sensation d'avoir marqué l'histoire du sport, de ce sport dans ce pays?
Donc au Portugal, je pense que j'espère que ça aura un peu de retentissement et qu'il y aura beaucoup de jeunes qui auront envie d'aller dans les clubs et de pratiquer le rugby, parce que c'est aussi un des objectifs de cette Coupe du Monde pour la fédération, pour le rugby portugais. Après, marquer l'histoire, c'est tellement éphémère des fois, ce genre de choses. C'est un bien grand mot, quoi. Mais on va dire que dans l'histoire du rugby portugais, on a fait un petit pas en avant. Voilà. Je ne vais pas paraphraser, on ne va pas faire des phrases grandiloquentes, bien au contraire. Ça n'est que du rugby. Et ce qui est bien, c'est la capacité de cette équipe à réagir et être généreuse dans son rugby. C'est ça qui est quelque part qui est le plus satisfaisant. Et si elle est récompensée, tant mieux.
Tomas, going to you again. There were things that weren't done how you wanted, but let's go with the positives. What you liked the most from Portuguese game, and what you think we have to do better against Australia next week?
I think once again, I think we put ourselves on the line. I think we had a lot of physicality, and when we get to these stages, I think we need to step up on the physicality. And I think once again, we did it against Wales. We did it again today, especially we know that our opponents will be stronger than us, bigger than us. So I think we really stepped forward. I think we were way better on first phase than last time, but still a lot of work to do. Sometimes we didn't. Sometimes we could not build our moves. I think we really have to be more patient when we get to the 22 of the opponent. I think we are rushing a lot the ball to the backs and then throwing 50-50 passes, and we can't do it. We have to hold on to the ball, build phases, and we need to score, even if it's on the 8th, 10th, 15th phase. I think we really need to keep the ball.
So we'll go at the back and then up the front next. Just waiting for translation. Thank you.
Marco Martins, RFI. Tomás, uma pergunta. Estiveram quase perto da vitória. Foi um empate. Primeiro, com que sabor se sai deste encontro? E segundo, marcaram a história. Com que sentimento também ficam? Porque o público estava à espera de alguma coisa e deram, retribuíram.
Acho que é um bocadinho um misto de sentimentos. Acho que, sabendo um bocadinho aqui a história e percebendo qual é que é o nosso lugar no ranking, percebendo onde é que está a Geórgia, sabemos que não éramos favoritos para este jogo, mas arrancámos para este jogo com tudo. Sabemos que tínhamos vitória na cabeça, se calhar um bocadinho desiludidos, porque estivemos tão perto, esta penalidade estivemos tão perto de fazer história, podemos dizer isto. Não ganhamos à Geórgia, se não me engano, desde 2005, e já lá vai demasiado tempo. E por um lado, satisfeitos com o que fizemos, mas não em euforia ou não demasiado contentes, porque podíamos ter ganho. Nós queremos ganhar, queremos ser uma equipa que ganha, não queremos ser uma equipa que vem cá para participar. Portanto, mais uma vez deixámos escapar a vitória perante os dedos e queríamos um bocadinho mais, mas continuamos a trabalhar para surpreender no próximo e no que vem a seguir.
So in the second row and then we'll come to the first row. So.
Question pour Patrice Lagisquet. Vous allez bien sûr jouer tous les matchs à fond, c'est ce que vous aviez dit avant ce match. Quels sont maintenant vos objectifs pour les deux derniers matchs face à deux grosses écuries?
D'abord, je crois que pour la qualification, ça va être compliqué. Mais non, comme je le dis depuis le début, on va essayer d'exister tout simplement, de jouer au rugby, de s'accrocher, d'embêter ces équipes qui nous sont supérieures et en pratiquant un rugby qui correspond aux qualités de nos joueurs pour essayer de les embêter le plus longtemps possible. Voilà. On sait qu'on va jouer deux des équipes les plus physiques de ce mondial maintenant. Et ça va être sûrement compliqué de résister à la puissance de ces deux équipes. On va essayer de bien se préparer pour résister, parce qu'il faudra, je pense qu'il nous faudra beaucoup de plaquage à deux si on veut arrêter les joueurs qu'on va avoir en face. Mais en même temps, il faudra qu'on ait l'ambition de jouer. Il faudra qu'on ait l'ambition de pratiquer un jeu comme celui de la deuxième mi-temps d'aujourd'hui, comme la première mi-temps du Pays de Galles, où on arrive à donner de la vitesse et du volume, parce que quelle que soit l'équipe contre laquelle on va jouer, on arrive et c'est notre ambition, on arrive à produire des attaques qui sont efficaces.
Hello, Patrice again. My question is, if you feel that this result, this tie, is more because of the first half given away, or because Portugal lacked a little bit of killer instinct in the second half when we were on top of the game?
This result, you can never make. We always want to do a remake and to change the game, but yes, the first half was poor. In the second half, we tried to control. We defended 2 minutes and a half before doing a fault, and Pedro Lucas was showing me after the game. Immediately, he had the video, and he has shown that the ball was behind the feet of the Georgian player, but immediately he was moving his foot to put it behind the ball, and that's why he was penalized. And I think he has done this fault because of his lack of experience. That's all. He should have the control and try to see if the referee was authorizing him to attack this ball. Because I think we we could defend more, but you can't say it's a lack of no, it's a lack of experience. Yes, but no, nothing more, nothing else. Yeah.
Time for one more last question in the second row. Thank you.
Bonjour. Est-ce que tu peux nous parler du match de Raffaele Storti qui vous a fait énormément avancer, qui a trouvé des espaces, voilà, tout simplement.
Oui, on sait que Raphaël, c'est un joker, c'est un facteur X. Lui, Rodrigo n'a pas été dans son meilleur jour, surtout en première mi-temps, mais après il nous a fait avancer, il a été cueillir des ballons en l'air, et c'est vrai que Raphaël, il a une capacité, il va très très vite, comme vous avez pu le voir, deux fois il marque alors qu'il a Nignashvili qui est à la course avec lui, il va vraiment très très vite et c'est un finisseur, il a l'instinct du finisseur et dès qu'il franchit, on sait que ça peut aller au bout. C'est pour ça qu'à la fin de la première mi-temps, je râlais énormément parce que on prend le carton jaune parce que sur le franchissement extraordinaire de Nuno en première mi-temps, il a Raphaël qui est à hauteur et il doit jouer avec Raphaël. Bon, c'est comme ça, mais c'est vrai que Raphaël, on sait tous qu'il a des qualités énormes sur les duels, sur sa qualité de finisseur. Et je pense, le Stade français ne s'était pas trompé en le recrutant. Si l'année dernière il ne s'était pas blessé rapidement avec Béziers, il avait de fortes chances de finir meilleur marqueur de la Pro D2. Et je ne serais pas étonné de le voir dans les années à venir, de le voir faire une belle carrière en top 14.
Thank you very much, Patrice. Thank you, Thomas. That closes the Portuguese press conference. We'll have Georgia, coach and captain, here very shortly. Thank you.
Hello everybody, Stevie P here from Forever Sports, and I'm here to tell you about BOYLESPORTS, the official betting partner of Forever Sports. Across all of our channels, they are one of the leading betting companies in the world and have recently launched in South Africa with an amazing offering. You can get a 1,000 Rand welcome offer. For the rugby, they are giving you 25% payout boost up to 2,000 Rand on the Springboks winning the World Cup, as well as an extra 50 Rand bet when you stake 250 more on rugby during the Rugby World Cup. It is your one-stop betting shop. That is BOYLESPORTS. Come and join us in the community. Check the links in the description to sign up, get yourself an account, and make sure that you are winning big with BOYLESPORTS.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Australia press conference with head coach Eddie Jones to my left and captain David Parecki to his left. Eddie, would you like to start with a few comments?
Firstly, I'd just like to apologise to all Australian supporters. A lot of people have travelled here. I'm sure a lot of people have stayed up late at night, and our performance wasn't up to the standard that is required, and I apologise for that. I take full responsibility for it. And we're disappointed. We've got a young team in there who's very disappointed. They tried their hearts out, but unfortunately at the moment we just don't have the consistency in our play to put pressure on teams like Wales. We do some good things and then we fall away. It's very disappointing. But congratulations to Wales also. I thought they played a good, tough game of rugby. They kick well, chase well, and they had a couple of opportunities to score tries, which they took. So well done to Wales.
Thanks. So if you could raise your hands for the first question, please. Yeah, on the right, thanks.
Eddie, are you still fully committed to this Australian project?
Yeah, 100%.
How? Why? Do you feel that way?
Well, I came back to Australia to try to help. At the moment, I'm not giving much help, am I? But that doesn't mean my commitment to help them has changed. I'm a proud Australian. I hate to see Australian rugby do as poorly as we've been doing, particularly under my reign. Came back to want to try to help, but there's not only the Wallabies we've got to improve. We've got to improve the whole system of Australian rugby, and that's not an excuse. But we've got to have a really good look at ourselves and see what we've got to do to improve the way we're going about our rugby.
Next question. Yeah, here in the front, and the next one will be the back row.
Sorry, Eddie, just to go through it and then move on from it. Did you do a job interview with Japanese rugby a couple of weeks before the World Cup? And if so, what was the thinking?
I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Hello, Eddie, from Rugby Click, Argentina. Do you think that the experience worked against to Australia today?
Can you say it again, please?
Do you think that the experience worked against Australia today?
Look, it's a good question, but I don't think you can ever use experience as an excuse. Sometimes some teams become experienced really quickly, and when you've got a team like we've got at the moment, you just need a period of play or a period of a game to go well, and the team can change very quickly. And at the moment, we've got the inability to do that, to put together phases of play that are good. So the players, because they're young, and they tend not to stick at it, and it's not because they don't care, and our effort just drops off a little bit. So I'm not sure whether we can use experience as an excuse, but it's definitely part of our issue. But the only way you get experience is by playing these games, and sometimes, games like this are the makings of a good team going forward.
Eddie, the worst World Cup defeat, by statistics anyhow. Can you explain why you think you are the best person to continue leading the Wallabies forward?
Well, that's not my judgment, mate. That's the judgment of Rugby Australia.
Are you able to explain why you think you are the right person to continue?
Well, I think I've got the ability to turn things around. I was hoping we'd be able to do it by now, but we haven't been able to. And as I said, I take full responsibility for it. I haven't done a good enough job, and I'm bloody disappointed about that, mate.
Eddie, do you think that you got the selection wrong, like in terms of
the inexperience that the players had out there?
Well, I was put in this job to turn Australia around. And I don't think I could have done it with the players that had been playing. I think we needed a fresh change. And sure, you know, young guys struggle in the environment today, but unless they get that sort of experience, they're not going to mature in the players they can be. Like this is the most painful time, don't get me wrong, but it's also the best learning time for a young team and young players. This is where they really learn about the game and learn what you've got to be at test level. You look at what Wales did today. They just continually put the ball in the air, chased hard, created penalties, one maul try, one set-piece try, one chip kick try, and it's a 40-point win. And you've got to just be able to stick at the game and do the things you're good at, and we're not able to do that at the moment. But these experiences are absolutely the most valuable. There's not a team I have in case that hasn't gone through this before at the start of their tenure. And it just happens to be quite a big environment to do it, which makes it not reasonably painful, very painful.
Eddie, do you have a second interview lined up with the JRFU?
I said I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Can you give Wallabies fans your absolute 100% commitment that you will not be coach of Japan next year?
I'm committed to coach Australia.
Next year?
I'm committed to coach Australia.
That doesn't sound very definitive, Eddie.
Thank you. Next question, please. We said one follow-up. Any further questions? Okay, one here, and then second over there.
Eddie, it was nice to see you shake Warren's hand at the start of the match. Have you had a chat with him afterwards, and did you say anything?
I think he's probably enjoying a Sahi beer, knowing Warren. No, we had a quick chat at the start. He's obviously come back to Wales. I've come back to Australia. We're just comparing notes. His notes are a bit better than mine at this stage.
Any dinner plans tonight?
No. I don't think I'll be going out in Lyon. I don't think it'll be a good place for me tonight.
Owen, did you have a question? Yeah, thanks.
Question for Dave, if I can. Dave, this morning a story was printed that was very well sourced about, as you've been hearing about, maybe Eddie joining Japan next season, next year. He's already said it's not going to happen, but I just wonder, from the point of view of your team, what kind of psychological impact did that have on you today? Did you talk about it at all? Did you know about it? I mean, I guess that's the kind of thing when your back's against the wall, you need to put in your ultimate performance. It can't have been helpful.
No, I don't think many of the boys were aware of anything, to be honest. We've had a good week prep, probably our best week of prep, and we didn't turn up tonight. So it's got nothing to do with the outside noise. It's just got to do with our performance. We weren't good enough.
I really take umbrage at the questioning, that people are questioning my commitment to coaching Australia. I really take umbrage at it. I've been working non-stop since I've come here, and I apologise for the results. I keep saying that. But to doubt my commitment to the job, I think, is a bit red hot. So we're not going to deal with any of those questions any further. So I'm happy to talk about Wales. I'm happy to talk about Portugal. If you want to keep going down that line, I'll excuse myself. So do you want to decide what you want to do?
Question on tonight's game?
Eddie, in terms of the young players and the inexperienced players you're talking about, the last 2 weeks, 2 losses, have you seen things, and are there players that have, despite the results, made strides in the last fortnight?
Massively, mate. If I look at Angus Bell, just in the forward pack, Nick Frost, Tom Hooper, Fraser McGright, Valentini, they're not at their best at the moment, but they're really making good progress. And then you got Mark in the back line, who's making some wonderful progress. So, there's a core group of players here who are going to be really good players. And I think, some of those players I've just mentioned in time will be world-class players, and they'll be the backbone of a very successful Australian team. I've got no doubt about that. You know, they're talented players, and now they're learning how to work harder, how to be more consistent in their preparation, and they're going to be fine players. You know, what Nick Frost's done in the last 2 games as a second rower, I think, you know, he's going to be a very good player.
Yeah, just 2 rows in front, yeah.
Eddie, you're talking about, I guess, regenerating the team now and 6-year plans to win the World Cup and a young team. But do you feel like you maybe set the expectations a bit high initially with the Australian public, with smash and grab campaigns and being able to win the World Cup? Was that a realistic sort of thing to say?
Well, I wouldn't care what team I took to the World Cup. If I wasn't thinking that I could win the World Cup, I wouldn't bother going. So, you know, I'd prefer to have high expectations, and then when you fail, at least you know, we've been setting our goal to win the World Cup, and we're not good enough. That's okay. That's okay. As long as we keep working hard and keep trying to improve, and we are every day. We're working hard to get better, and today was you know, one of those things where unfortunately it doesn't go on a linear line. It doesn't go like this. You got some downs and ups and downs and ups, and we'll continue to have that for a while. I've got no doubt about that. But what we are seeing is a group of young players who are going to be the backbone of a very successful Australian team.
Thanks. We have time for final 2 questions, which is one here and second one there. Thanks.
Dave, what, on behalf of the players, like, what do you have to say to Australian fans about that performance and the World Cup, I suppose, in general?
Oh, we apologise. You know, we just. We let ourselves down, we let Australians down, but we will bounce back, and yeah, we shift our focus to next week and earning a bit more respect back through our performance, but it just wasn't good enough tonight. Everyone's gutted. Yeah, didn't have too many words to say after the game, to be honest. It was frustrating.
The final one on the right.
Eddie, your appointment was obviously big news in Australia. A lot of upheaval had to happen for it to take place. I mean, now that you've just lost what you said was a do-or-die game by a record margin, I mean, would it be fair for people to suggest the experiments failed?
Well, I can't really judge on that, can I? Because whilst... Like, whenever we start a job, we want to win games straight away and we want to create the best team we can. But there is a process involved. And as soon as you start talking about a process, people think you're trying to take pressure off yourselves. And that's why, you know, specifically going back, I wanted to say we wanted to win. We want to be the best we can be. But I took the job understanding there was going to be a process to rebuild Australian rugby and rebuild the Wallabies. And a process, unfortunately, takes time. It takes some pain. Sometimes it takes more pain than it does pleasure. But I've got no doubt what I set out to do, whilst it looks at the moment like it's a shambles, I can guarantee you it's not. You know, there are things afoot that will help change Australian rugby, which is not for me to talk about, but for other people, for Rugby Australia to talk about. And I've got to coach the team better. There's no doubt about that. You know, that's not good enough tonight, and I'm responsible for that. But we've got a process in place.
Eddie, David, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports, where we are going to be bringing you live commentary of the game between Australia and Portugal. It is a game from Pool C, and it's sure to be an absolute cracker. My name is Wes, and if you guys haven't been with me before, absolute pleasure to have you. And if you have been with me before, great to have you back joining me along for this live commentary First things first, guys, you know I've got to do it. Please make sure you're hitting that like button. It just allows YouTube to know what is a legitimate stream, and this being one of them. So smash that like button. Look at potentially becoming a Forever Sports subscriber to the channel. It allows us to interact in the chat because I will be asking for your thoughts, opinions. Something I really enjoy about the channel is being able to interact with you guys watching along. It just makes it more of an immersive experience. Yeah, I think that's all for now. In those chats, though, you can start letting me know where you guys are joining in from. I'm streaming to you live from the Okavango Delta in Botswana, bringing you coverage of Australia and Portugal. So definitely get in those comments and yeah, let me know where you're watching from. It is going to be a big clash for Australia today. I mean, I think, you know, it's not controversial to say they've not had the best couple of months of rugby, let alone their best World Cup, potentially their worst World Cup results ever, exiting out in the group stages. But still a slim mathematical chance. Fiji not securing the bonus win over Georgia yesterday, allowing Australia then a chance to still make it, although a slim one. We will have to see if they can capitalize today. And I think they definitely will be looking to put on a big performance. Not being in the best form, as we know, just looking at some stats here, especially from the last 5 games, they've won 1, and that was against Georgia. That was their opening Rugby World Cup game, 35-15. So, you know, solid performance there. But 2 games before that, you know, tough, close loss to the All Blacks, where the Aussie side really showed some sort of form. And then a big loss to France, 41 points to 17. And then it's just kind of beat downhill from there. Obviously, a narrowish loss against Fiji. And then that demolition job that was done by Wales last week, I think all but sunk the nail into the coffin. So a big effort here needed from Eddie Jones's men, although difficult to see how they pull it out the bag. It's not something you can just sort of switch on and put on a big performance. Clearly, there is something fundamentally wrong in the Aussie camp, which is very disappointing. And that's coming from a South African, you know, supporter myself, and a South African where Australia is almost enemy number 1 when it comes to sports, because they are such a good sporting nation. So it's a proper rivalry. So it is quite sad, I think, to see their state of rugby where it is at the moment. And potentially this is a really long play by Eddie Jones if he's sticking around after the World Cup for the next one. There's been all sorts of rumors which he's denied about Japan and this, that, the next. But you can understand if he kind of just said, right, what I'm doing is we're going to go to this World Cup. We're going to try to be competitive. You know, we're not going to embarrass ourselves, but we're going to build for the next one. You know, don't expect us to win it. You know, putting out that ad that when he went to the barber shop, like, oh, I'm not going there for the croissants. Not the best look now, to be honest. But yeah, maybe it's a building thing, but we will have to see if he is going to be around. But just going back to their form, as I said, 1 win out of the last 5. They're on a 2-game losing streak. They only scored 11 tries over the past 5 games. It's not a lot, you know, especially from a side with such great finishes. You know, Korobetti, one of the best finishers in the game, and then obviously Langatoa so potent on the wing. You know, can he do something? Can he affect something? We've got Donaldson back at 10, and again, we will look at a bit more interaction there with Donaldson. We'll go through the player profiles and have a look at it in a bit. But you would think they'd be getting over the try line a bit more. Points difference currently sitting at -48. I mean, I'm trying to think the last time Oz had a negative points difference, which has been a while. They have been the first team to score the first try in 3 out of the 5 games. So quick off the mark, as well as get first points 3 out of the 5 games. But then it does slow down after that. So often start strong, and we saw that against Fiji with their flying 14 getting over the line, and then it's just about consistency really, which has been a bit frustrating for Australia. But before we go to the teams, guys, just a massive thank you, obviously, to all of you for joining in on the stream today. Appreciate you having here, as well as to our channel sponsors. Now, you guys will know we're brought to you by both BOYLESPORTS and BITDEFENDER. So let me just quickly thank BITDEFENDER here. So BITDEFENDER Total Security brings major changes to the way online threats are detected and repelled. The new cyber threat intelligence technologies included can analyze and identify suspicious network-level activities, block sophisticated exploits, malware, botnet-related URLs, and brute force attacks. So if you are interested in protecting your cybersecurity, please do check out the link in the description, which will take you to BITDEFENDER. And it just, really, really good service from them. So massive thank you to them. And we'll get to BOYLESPORTS a little bit later. as I said, start getting into the chat, guys, where you're tuning in from. It would be great to know, to start getting to hear from some of you where you're watching from. We just got on the screen here Eddie Jones obviously giving a pre-match interview, a little press conference, undoubtedly saying he's looking to put on a big performance. Hopefully he doesn't make any massive, he tends to almost Trumpian in his statements sometimes about like, oh, it's going to be the best performance or what, and sort of overblow and then set up really high expectations. But anyway, I was going to say he knows what he's doing, but does he? So we'll have to just wait and see what they can do here. I mean, again, you would think Australia should put this Portuguese side away. Again, they've showed moments, Portugal now, moments of playing good rugby. A little nice trick line-out play here and there. I think last week's performance was pretty good. But really, Australia should be looking to put them away and put them away comfortably. As I said, give themselves the best chance. All they can do now is try to come away with a bonus point win and see if they can somehow squeak away into the quarterfinals. But it is unlikely. But the Aussie fans out and about in France looking like they're still enjoying it, despite obviously the form their team is in. It cannot be easy. I try to keep thinking about if this was happening to the Springboks. And we were in this kind of form where we, had lost 2 of our pool games and looked like we would have a group exit. It would be very tough. I mean, yeah. So I do feel for the Aussie fans, but they're in good spirits. Right. Let's then have a look at the Australian side that will be taking the field today against Portugal. So those are the Aussie guys taking the field today against Portugal. That is your match day 23. Yeah, some changes to definitely chat about. I mean, it's pretty solid back three there that we're used to in Korumbetsi, Nawa Kandiwase, and Kellaway. Obviously, Ben Donaldson taking the number 10 spot, and Carter Gordon being on the bench. And you've got to think, great sort of potentially booster for Ben Donaldson, starting at 15, having a good job, and then being promoted to 10. But for Carter Gordon, a guy that's been brought on as like the only out and out 10, and then to not sort of be selected because of things and how it's gone. You hope he's able to come back from this, and how valuable it would have been potentially to have a more senior 10 in place. And we all know who I'm talking about, Quade Cooper, like just a bit of a cooler head, a calmer head, a more experienced figurehead to then go to and just talk him through this time, right? Because there's no use taking young players to World Cup tournaments. And I do think that was a bit of an oversight. But Heinz, how's it? I'd likely to have you in the chat here, saying ex-Cape Town, watching from Wilhelmshaven, Germany. Great job, mate, keeping Sappers updated. No live TV connection. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Heinz. Appreciate it there. I hope you are all well over in Germany there. Trying to think what the season is going into now. It's going into August, isn't it? So it's a bit of October. So fall now, heading into winter. So I'm sure hopefully you had a lack of summer. Undoubtedly not quite a Cape Townian summer, but hopefully it was a good one. Okay, and then looking back at the side, I think your forwards for the Australian side here pretty solid, pretty standard really. Rob Valentini, I think he's got some really impressive stats. I think in the preview video I did, I think he's got some of the most meters gained out of any sort of forward. So he'll be looking to put in a big shift today, as he always does, flanked on either side by Tom Hooper and Fraser McWright, who I think haven't had awful games, but nothing outstanding. Although difficult to sort of really get anything firing in this Aussie side. I think we'll definitely have to keep our eyes open for the centre pairing, though, in that of 12 Foketti and 13 Perese. Two names I'm not too familiar with. It's been difficult for me to watch some of the Super Rugby and other domestic leagues. So I'm not seeing these guys run about. So it'd be very, very interesting to see what they can do in the centres. Undoubtedly looking to attack from that solid platform. But as we know, it's all about the forwards and getting the backline the good go forward ball. The backline can't fire if the forwards are under pressure, and they will look to try get their set piece under control. Again, another area that's been hammered by opposition teams, and we saw that in that dismantling of Wales, or Wales rather dismantling them last week. And yeah, how good was Gareth Anscombe from Wales? I know we're not watching Wales right now, but just have to comment on, I thought his performance was excellent, especially Dan Biggar going off so early on. And you do wonder, and then you can never really sort of say, but you do wonder how different the game might have been had Biggar stayed on. I think Anscombe and Biggar bring something very different to the Welsh side, both good, just different. But Anscombe really coming out and shining and getting his team on the go forward front foot ball, which is excellent. So we are going to then have a quick look at the Portuguese side. Unfortunately, we don't have nice fancy graphics for you on this one, so I'm going to just go through them from 1 to 23. And again, my sincerest apologies if I do butcher any of these names. I have been practicing all week, I do promise. We do get the phonetic guides out here trying to do the players a bit of justice. So having a look then for the Portuguese side taking the field today, at number 1, it's David Costa. At 2, Mike Tudger. 3 is Diogo Hasse Ferreira. 4 is Jose Madeira. 5, Martin Bello. At 6 is David Wallace. 7 then is Nicholas Martins. And 8 is Thiabold de Freitas. Excuse me, looking over into your backline then now is 9 at Samuel Marquez. 10 is Geronimo Portela. 11, Rodrigo Marta. And then your captain for the day is 12, Thomas Appleton. I think he's had an absolutely great tournament so far. I think he's been quite cool, calm and collected in his decision making, as well as handling of the referees. Unfortunately, his side yet to get their first win. I think it's the comeback. It's 16 years since their last appearance in 2007. So Portugal's looking for their first Rugby World Cup win. So can they potentially look to upset Australia today? Then getting into the centre pairing there, 13 is Pedro Batencourt. 14 on the other wing is Rafael Storti. Then rounding out your starting 15, at 15 is Nuno Sousa Guedes. Looking to your bench then, number 16 is Francisco Fernandez. 17 is Duarte Diniz. 18 is Francisco Bruno. 19 is Stevie Cerqueira. 20 is Rafael Semos. 21 is João Bella. Bello, excuse me. At 22, Joris Maura. And at 23 is Manuel Corroso Pinto. So those are the Portuguese players taking the field against Australia. And as I said, for the Portuguese side, I think, yeah, moments as with these tier 2 nations. And I did see, you know, this is the conversation we keep coming back to, and I'd be really love to know your guys' thoughts in chat, is how do we bridge this gap? Because we saw the New Zealand side just take an Italian side to town, and not out of town in a fun way. We saw them dismantle them and really slap 96 points on them, which is crazy. So how do we go about closing this gap? You know, how do we stop it from being the top, 6 sides, 7 sides, and then everyone else is not even within touching distance? Fiji have made good steps, and maybe we need to look at the model of what they've done. Do we potentially have a look at doing local, domestic, domestic doesn't work, but like international leagues, where you have a South American league, an African league, a Polynesian, or sort of, that's not what I'm looking for. What's the collective for Australia and New Zealand and Fiji and Samoa and Tonga? Some names escaping now, but is there a league there? And then you have a Northern Hemisphere, the European sides, and you have a North American side. And then, that way there's at least more test rugby for everyone. But then how do you ensure that everyone's getting good test rugby? Because it's great for the small sides then playing against the big names, but how do the big names then continue to play against each other? Then potentially do you have a tournament, not like a World Cup, but from those leagues, maybe the top 2 sides from those leagues. So if you're doing an African league, maybe it's South Africa and Namibia, they then go through to the next tournament. And the next tournament will then be those 2 sides versus the top 2 from South America, the top 2 from North America, the top 2 from Europe. I don't know, just trying to think about how we get these sides more game time, and potentially World Rugby is able to help with refereeing, get the referees out and part of training sessions, and training. I don't know, just interesting thoughts. But anyway, having a look back at the chats there, Alan Robinson, how's it, Alan? Great to have you here. Good evening, Wes. More cricket scores from the Wallabies and the Box. Alan, interesting you say that about the cricket score for the Wallabies. Do you think it's going to be a bit of a blowout? Because, normally, if it was any other given World Cup, and if you just looked at this on paper, you'd say, yeah, okay, Australia definitely going to run away with a big one here. But I think you just don't know what to expect. I think they'll be hurting, and that can either spur them on to really come out and put on a great performance and put up a big score, or potentially they might just, I don't know, be a bit, not disenchanted, but deflated, really. We'll have to see. I mean, they are professional sportsmen. They'll be coming out with the right attitude, but very, very difficult to come back from the position that Australia is in at the moment. In terms of the Bok game, goodness, I hope it's a cricket score. I hope they do turn up tonight and play some excellent rugby against Tonga, who we know can be a quality side. They've struggled to find form in this tournament, both against Ireland and Scotland. And what a performance by Scotland last night. If you guys were able to catch it on TV, or if you joined me here on Forever Rugby, it was a pleasure to commentate on. It just looked like really nice running, clinical rugby. I think Chat Sport was with us last night in the comments there, saying he was looking for Scotland to iron out their mistakes and whatnot. And I think they really did that. There were a few errors here and there, but just some backline moves looked really well engineered. The forwards were functioning well at line-out time, rolling more scrums. So definitely a quality Scottish side, which we knew they were. They were number 5 coming into the World Cup. I think potentially it was just that domineering performance by the Springboks to then sort of just rain on their parade a bit, and everyone kind of just forgot about Scotland. So no doubt next week's clash between Scotland and Ireland is going to be another mouth-watering one. And I'm not quite sure what I want to happen there, because it's tough. You can't really start thinking about this, but who do you want to play in the quarters? France or New Zealand? New Zealand were looking really good last night. France have been looking really good. Is Anton Dupont going to be back in time for that clash with his supposedly custom specialized face mask? A tough one. Yeah, I don't know. But all you can do is go out and just win your games. And that's what the Boks have done for most of the time, except obviously against Ireland. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, please make sure that you do like the video. If you haven't already, really appreciate it. Just gets the video sharing out there to everyone else who might be looking for it as well. So really appreciate you just hitting that like button. Super easy to do. And if you aren't already, become a Forever Sports subscriber. It just helps us to see what you guys are engaging with as well as what you guys like, and we can put out more of that content for you. But I just do want to do another big shout out before we get in. We're about 8 minutes away from kickoff now, or even less than that, really, about 7 or so. Just a big shout out to our second sponsor, which is BOYLESPORTS. So again, this links in nicely to what I want to ask you guys. What do we think? Alan there in the chat is starting to talk about cricket scores. So why don't we start getting some score predictions down in the chat? I think on my SUPERBRU, I went for Australia by 35. I do think it'll be a commanding win, but I don't know how far they'll be able to close it out. So I've got Oz by 35. And then if you like me, if you think you know what's going to happen, then definitely go out to BOYLESPORTS. Because if you think you know what the result's going to be, then why don't you head over to BOYLESPORTS and create an account and place your bet. Not only can you win big on your prediction, but BOYLESPORTS will match your first deposit up to £1,000. So check out the description and join today. And again, if you're not sure where to start on that, go check out Chris Rowe's Pro Tips. You'll find that on the Forever Sports channel as well. Chris has been making, if you've been following along with him and if you've been putting your money where Chris's mouth is, you will definitely be a happy person, because Chris has made some people quite a bit of money depending how much you put down. But he hasn't, hasn't got many wrong yet. So great, go check out Chris and go check out BOYLESPORTS. And again, a huge thank you to our channel partners. And again, a massive thank you to you guys for joining in. Having eyes on the stream helps as well. Liking, subscribing, commenting, it's just all part of it. It's something I really enjoy. Okay, the teams are in the tunnels. The teams are in the tunnels, and we see the Australian player there trying to get a hold of the other mascot. He wasn't really having it. Anyway, Thomas Appleton leading out his Portuguese side. So Oz will be playing in the traditional sort of gold shirts and green shorts. Portugal in their sort of scarlet maroon shirts and white shorts with the green trim on the shirts. So they are heading out onto the field now, and the Portuguese players just, I think, trying to soak this in as well, enjoying the moment. And again, they will have undoubtedly their victories. They'll smell a bit of blood. They'll fancy themselves with a chance to win here, but I think you can get ahead of yourself if you start to think about that end goal potentially. Of winning the game. I think you've got to break it down and compartmentalize it, right? What we want to do is we want to, have dominant tackles. We want to make sure that we're winning lineouts and scrums, and just break the game down into small, manageable chunks. Because if you start to look at it potentially, as a whole thing, it becomes too big and too overwhelming, and then you start doing everything subpar. I think we do have to talk about Georgia, though. Even though they lost to Fiji, they put on a display of some fantastic rugby. I thought they looked really neat and tidy. I think their dominating tackles were also really, really impressive. Fiji aside, used to having that one over teams, making the dominant tackles, driving teams back, running through, at least breaking the first. But Georgia showed up to play yesterday, and so played a bit of fantastic rugby there. So maybe a bit too late, a little bit too late for the Georgians, unfortunately. But great stuff. And we are getting the anthems underway, starting with the Portuguese anthem. And here we go. So Alan in the chat saying, agree, the Wallabies are having a bit of a rocky road at the moment, but hey, it's Rugby World Cup, anything can happen. Absolutely, Alan. Definitely, I think the Australian fans would say it's a bit more than a rocky road. They'd probably say they've gone completely off piste, and not a map in sight really. I don't know if you guys saw, but Stevie had a bit of a viral moment with his interview with one of the Aussie fans. I think he said the classic line of, if I wanted to see Australians struggle to get out of a pool, I'd go to Bali, which I thought was just an absolute humdinger of a line. So credit to that man. But you can understand the frustration. As I said, if it was sort of the side I support, the Springboks, if we were in the form the Aussies are in and struggling and had the troubles they did, I'd be just as upset. But it comes down to Australia rugby as well then, making sure that they are putting the correct decisions in place to enable their teams and support staff and coaches to do the best they can, which I don't think has been the case. Right, Portuguese anthem done and dusted. Moving over now to the Australian national anthem, and then getting kickoff underway in just about 3 minutes. Once again, guys, if you haven't already, start to put some of your score predictions in the chat. You can let me know what you think is going to be. Is it going to be a blowout? Do we think Oz are going to run away with it? Do we think Portugal might be in with a chance with an upset? I've tried to field some questions from my mates to see if anyone went with Portugal, but I don't think anyone has. It makes it really tough with the SUPERBRU picks, because you want the underdog to win, but at the same time you've picked not the underdog, so you don't want them to win. So that makes it tricky. But so far, I think I'm 4 from 4. Oh no, that's not. We've played more than that, haven't we? Whatever. I haven't got a pick wrong, although the margins have been a bit questionable. I'm always a bit conservative, really. I always feel like, it's difficult to put 40 points, 50 points on the team, but then it just gets away from some teams. Okay, so anthems finished. We are ready to go. Dylan, how's it, mate? Wes, can you leave some good looks for the rest of us? Dylan, gonna make me go very red on the camera. But you're too kind and such a charmer, Dylan. Flattery will get you everywhere, but good to have you with us. Let me know, Dylan, what you think the score's going to be in the chat here. I'm really torn between what Australia can do. Again, it's a pretty quality side on paper. They've got some big names there. They've got some guys who can finish. They know their way to the try line. But we've just not seen that come through in the last games, and especially against Wales. I mean, Wales just did a fantastic job to completely neutralise anything that the Aussies could throw at them, which I'm sure Alan was very, very happy about. So just a minute away from kickoff. We're very much looking forward to tonight's coverage of South Africa Tonga. Going to be, again, should be an absolute cracker. All right, teams are lined up. Portugal playing from left to right. Once again, Portugal in their traditional maroon scarlet tops with white shorts, and Oz in their gold shirts then with their dark green shorts. And it is the Portuguese that will be kicking off from left to right, as their number 10, Geronimo Portela, who I thought had a fantastic game against Georgia last week. Portuguese side really making life difficult for the Georgians, though. They'll be looking to repeat that performance and hopefully come out with a different result. And it is Nika Amashukeli who will be refereeing the game, getting things underway. I think he's been pretty good this World Cup, pretty consistent. I think all the refereeing, for the most part, has been, which is what we like to see. Right, we are underway. The kick goes just inside the Australian 22. It is Frost who collects it. Bit of a driving maul setup. Still within the 22, but now probably just over the line. So Tate McDermott not able to clear out directly, but Australia's still making meters now, about 5 to 6 meters, now 7, 10 meters outside of their 22. So this rolling maul proving to be a good extra strategy for them. The Portuguese will look to slow this down. Right. Amashukeli says, right, use it now. And we go out to Donaldson. Donaldson then out the back. And just a bit of a missed pass there. No harm, no foul, though, as Noah Kantuese does a nice little step and then a chip onto the boot by Andrew Kellaway. I was managing to retain possession. So into the Portuguese half. This is good from Australia. Positive start on the front foot right from the word go. We come to the left as Tate McDermott. Donaldson then out to his props. A little back inside off the deck. Lovely work from Australia. Here they come down the left-hand side. Big number 13, Perez making a nuisance of himself. Ball a little bit slow. McDermott goes now to the right. Long pass over to Slipper. Taken down well. McDermott to Donaldson into contact. Then finds Hooper. Hooper linking up with Fraser McWright. McDermott then tackled around the ruck, but it is a knock-on and does go forward. But better from Australia. Nice opening passage of play there, 1 minute 35, and pretty much all the possession definitely with Australia. So it looked good. They managed to get out of their 22, maul it up the field, work it out wide, find the space, chip and chase. It's better from Australia. It's really, really positive. Alan Rocky Road is a dessert favourite in Australia. Yes. Well, I'm sure the ice cream flavour, but potentially I think these guys would be hoping for a bit of a smoother road with the World Cup. Dylan's calling a draw. Wallabies have to find their equilibrium before they can move forward, in my opinion. Anyway, Dylan, that would be very interesting to see a draw. We've only obviously had the one, which obviously was between Portugal and Georgia last week, I believe. So could the Portuguese, I mean, that would even be another upset, wouldn't it, to to draw the Australians. Obviously, a win would be a bigger call, but we'll have to wait and see. So, first scrum of the game came at just about a minute and a half in. A full minute's gone before we get the scrum set. Weight packs, Australian pack being slightly heavier, and the Aussies winning here a penalty at scrum time. Just waiting, and I think it is number 3 for the Portuguese side. Pereira there being penalised for dropping his knee or going to the ground, collapsing the scrum. So Ben Donaldson is hand of the ball, and they do point to the posts, which again I think is the smart decision. I think Australia rolled. We might have seen a bit of a cockier, cockier side go for the corner, but the Aussies taking no chances and going for the posts. Alan going for a 20-point gap. Australia's favour. Yeah, no, absolutely, Alan. I'm with you there. I think I said on my SUPERBRU 35. I think if Oz can find their rhythm, they've got the players on there to take full advantage of all of that. So I think a positive start here, moving the ball well up the fields, earning a penalty at scrum time, and they'll be happy with the 3 points and just look to build that scoreboard pressure. So Donaldson just to the right of the posts, about 18 or so meters out. 3 seconds left on the shot clock, and slices the upright. So no issues for Ben Donaldson. The Aussies fans cheering, finally having something to cheer about in earnest. A good start. Eddie Jones being as happy as Eddie Jones can be at the moment, hoping his team will continue that good form. And Patrice Lagisquet there, the Portuguese coach, not looking as happy, but when does he? Right, Portugal then to restart us once again. A bit deeper this time to Rob Valentini, who then inside to Donaldson with a lovely clearance kick, massive clearance kick, which I think will take us to halfway. So really good work there by Australia. Normally we see Rob Valentini run those back, but probably got the call from Donaldson on his inside saying, yeah, give that one to me, mate. Stats at the moment, we're only 4 minutes in or 5 minutes in, but yeah, 93% possession with the Australians. So Portugal here now with a chance to get their hand on some ball and see what they can do from the halfway point. So line out time. And it is number 2, Mike Tadjer throwing in. First job done, finds his target, and then out it goes. Lovely long pass there from Marquez to Appleton. Appleton then to his number 14, finding loads of space in behind the Aussies, offloading it to the 15 of Suez Guedes, and then ultimately taken out into touch. The line flag is up. But that was really, really good by Portugal, finding the space. Unfortunate they couldn't keep those phases going. But Oz will be a little concerned that opened up so easily for them. But nice work there. Lovely pass, lovely long pass from Samuel Marquez, as I said, out to his back line. Right, short line out for Australia here. They go all the way to the back. Take McDermott then, finds Valentini. Valentini takes it up strongly, still within the 22. McDermott will probably look to box. And he does exactly that. And he does find touch. Once again, pretty much almost in exactly the same position, just on the opposite side of the field. So Portugal will have another crack at this and see if they can once again find that space they found before. As I said, opened up a bit too easily, the Australian defence did. Little worrying signs. Really intense conversations happening between number 3, Ferreira, and Tadjer there at line-out time. But it worked for them in the first one. Right, Tadjer looks to throw. Finds his man at the front, down to the bottom, Marquez, and another long pass out to the right here. A little bit messy, but it is number 8, Freitas, carrying it up, tidies it up. Marquez then out the back. Lovely long looping pass over to number 14, Storti. Gets driven back in the tackle. Strong tackle there by the Australian at number 12. Marquez then to the left. Portela really finding his runners. Marquez then, Portela. The space not as available as it was. I say that though, Appleton comes around the corner, finds a bit more space. Marquez then back to the right to his big men. Diogo Hasse Ferreira And the Portuguese are able to win themselves a penalty, and they take it quickly, but I don't think it was on the mark. And again, was that the right call? Appleton looks quite upset about that, but yeah, I think in these positions, you just want to gain your territory. Obviously, Marquez might have seen the Aussies just slacking a bit, wanting to catch them unaware, but I do think that's probably a bit of a blessing in disguise they've been called back. Just hammer it downfield, gain the territory, keep the possession. So smart plays. It's again the plays we've been seeing Fiji make more and more often, except not yesterday. That Fijian performance, I don't know about you guys, but goodness me, was something of Fiji of old, which is a bit disappointing. Vince, great to have you in the chat. Come on, Portugal. Yeah, so they're not doing too badly. Only 3-0 down within the first 10 minutes, Vince. So are we predicting a Portuguese upset? What do you think the score is going to be? Welcome, guys, if you've just joined us. My name's Wes. Pleasure to be with you here on Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. Make sure you smash that like button as we do watch the action here between Australia and Portugal. So Portuguese lineup once again successful. Marquez out to his back line. Nice out-the-back pass here. Strong tackle. Lovely out-the-back door pass there by the fullback to the number 14. Does well to run all the way to the right here. So nice linking up of Guedes and Storti. Portugal still with it. Now coming to the left. About, 26 meters out. Portela inside again. Great little ball from him, but solid tackle from the Australian defence. Marquez then goes to the left. And they look to shift it wide, although we step back inside here, does number 13, Battencourt, Pedro Battencourt. Marquez keeps it going to the left. Portela, a little offload to his number 11, Marta. Portugal showing nice play here with the ball. Good opportunities and keeping the ball. I say that, then it becomes a little bit loose. Portela has to clean up here, the number 10, trying to step his way through, but takes it down in the contact. Marquez just slowing things down a bit here, potentially. Maybe looking for a penalty, seeing if they can get on the scoreboard themselves. Australia will have to be careful. They're almost right in front of the post. Very kickable position here. Marquez now to the left. No way through there. The Australian defence coming up quickly. Marquez looks for the inside pass. That was very, very nice. Lovely offload there. Will have to be checked. It did look a bit forward, but Portugal making good ground here. Nice little inside pass there from Marquez. He comes again to the right. Portela out to Appleton. Appleton then finds Guedes. Guedes, it is man on man. Has to go in, but strongly tackled by Ben Donaldson. Appleton then at the number 9 position to Portela. A bit flat. There is Australia player down in the background. Not sure how that happened. Marquez wants to chip it over and see if they can find some ground here. Colombetti all alone. He does run it out himself. So really good pressure from Portugal. They're not allowing the veteran to clear his line. So not a try, not what they would have hoped for, but definitely able to keep possession here. Nice little dink over the top from Marquez. And the good pressure, I think it was the Portuguese number 6, David Wallace there, just putting the pressure. So good work from the Portuguese early on. Ethan, how's it, Ethan? Good to have you in the chat there. I said 26 for Oz. Yeah, I think that point margin is quite common. I think I went a bit higher to about a 35-odd point differential for Australia. But that was an encouraging passage of play here for the Portuguese, keeping the ball in hand nicely and nice offloads and interlinking. As you see this beautiful replay pass from Guedes there to find his number 14, ultimately tackled. But it's also a nice interplay there from the hooker, Tadja, finding support runners. Marquez barking orders. So Portugal still with the possession and still with good territory here. Time is off as we wait for the injury. So 10.5 minutes. Gert, great to have you here. How's it all the way from Vietnam? Australia 32, Portugal 13. Thank you, Gert. Appreciate that score prediction. Does look like we will have an early substitution here for Australia, which is not great. They would have been hoping not for that. It does look like Frost will be potentially coming off. And he does not look like he's enjoying life. Big limp there on the right leg. He's a big man. I mean, I don't know if that physio is just particularly small. Obviously, Frost is a big human being, but my gosh. Simon there saying Portugal can win this. Well, they're showing signs of it. Really, really good work there from the Portuguese. And they've got a scrum 5 meters out. So fantastic attacking platform opportunity here for Portugal. How great would that be for them to get the first try of the game, take the lead early on? How would Australia respond to that? Positively, or would heads drop? Okay, Frost is indeed staying on the field. So despite that limp, he is going to soldier on. So we look to feed 5 meters. We're on the right-hand side. There is a decent blind side here available. So it is Tom Hooper who will have to keep his eyes up. Solid scrum by both sides. Does start to rotate a bit then. The ball comes loose. They do earn themselves the penalty advantage. Marquez digs it out. Marquez goes himself, a little bit hot stepping, looking for support. Gets that ball out. Space is there, but well tackled. Off the deck, Appleton now with it. Goes straight. Route 1, 2 meters. His knees are on the ground. They have to release. Cheeky around the corner. Marquez now. I tried one more, just a bit selfish. Australian defence knew that was coming. They've been driven back now 5 meters. Still with Portugal. Tons of space here on the right-hand side. You can see Battencourt screaming for it, hands up in the air. There's no one here, but the Portuguese forwards will probably bash this up a little bit, trying to suck in some more Australian defenders. And they do just that. Oz must be careful now not to give away. I think they've still got the advantage there from the scrum. Appleton now, long skip pass, lovely pass by Thomas Appleton. It is Battencourt to the line, and Portugal will be over with the first try of the game. You have to say that is what a fantastic pass by the Portuguese captain there, Thomas Appleton. Just cut out all of the Australian defence. Battencourt, Pedro Battencourt, the number 13, was hugging the right-hand touchline here. Very, very close. No space, so he was as flat as he could be. What a pass. Can't wait to see that on the replay. But fair dues, Portugal. So putting the Aussies under the pump early on. Marcelo Ribeiro, great to have you in the chat. We come in to stay. Yeah, this is good from the Portuguese side. Able to turn a little bit of scrappy ball into nice structured play there. Really good stuff. Never allowing Australia defence to set, just moving the ball really quickly, constantly shifting where that ball is going to be, and the defence having to adapt, and really difficult to do so. Thomas Appleton then instrumental in this. Here we see this pass to his right-hand side, and a great try. Yeah, Vince, you must be happy. Go Portugal. Aussies are indeed a mess. Temba, how's it? Commentary is delayed on the screen on the side, like a full minute delay. Sorry about that, Temba. We will try and get it up to date. As I said, I'm coming to you from the Delta, so the streaming might be slightly delayed. I'll see if I can get that up to speed as soon as possible. But fantastic for the Portuguese side. They are stoked, and here we get underway once again. Next break and play, I will try refresh and see if I can get it a bit more up to date. Let's see. Here we go. So we kick. We're in the Portuguese 22, and players now will look to exit well. Just now to start to do the basic things. The conversion is good, by the way, so it is 3 points to 7. Almost couldn't have asked for a better start from Portugal. Marquez looks to box and clear. Arnold's trying to make a hassle of himself. He does indeed find touch. Not a bad touch finder. It does take their side, just inside the Portuguese half. So actually a great clearance kick there from Samuel Marquez, the Portuguese number 9. Willem Diaga getting involved in the chat. Willem, how's it? Was it William? How's it everyone go, Bokke? Yeah, lekker for tonight's game. Aussies are not able to retain the balls. It does come out. So Portugal, after all that early possession the Australians had, it is now all with Portugal. Bit of a strange decision there, just to kick it over the top. There were Australian players back. Temba is giving us some insight there. I bet over 42.5 for this game. I'll be happy with over 25 at half time. Let's see, Temba. Always makes it very, very interesting when you put some money down, and hope you went to BOYLESPORTS. Placed the bet there with one of our channel partners. Early stress, says Jacobus de Beer for the Australian team. Yeah, not doing themselves any favour. But again, we just saw there from the line out, winning the line out, getting to the back line, and then losing the ball. Got to do the basics right to keep that possession. But We are going to the TMO though, and as I said, this is never good. William, that's interesting. You can't hear me. I think I've got good vocals or audio. Might be an issue on your side, but let me know if it does persist. Otherwise, I've got good from everyone else. Yeah, Eddie Jones's face. I think we always need to have a camera on Eddie Jones to see what's going on. Oof. So we are looking at a potentially foul play, high tackle here from the try scorer, Battencourt. So it does seem to be shouldered directly onto the head of his opposite number 13, Perez. And I think Amashikeli there will probably go to his pockets with a yellow card and a review. It does seem to be the default almost with any yellow card. He is indeed going to his pocket. So it's a dream start for 13 for Battencourt. But then that is almost, yeah, he looks like confused. He doesn't really know who's being sent off. He's still on the field. So probably Amashikeli here just needs to just let him know. There finally he's been told, and off he goes for that high tackle. Portugal are leading already, but they've just conceded a yellow card there for a high shot. Marcelo, how is that a fault? It is the laws here. It's you've got to make sure that you've got no contact on the opposite player's head. And unfortunately, his shoulder there did make contact with Perez's head. So it is just the law. They'll look at mitigating factors about if there was anything they could do to avoid that. So I don't think that'll be a red card. I think it'll probably remain yellow. But here the Australians have decided to go for the points. Might be a good time here for me to try and refresh my stream and see what we can do. William, I forgot that I connected my phone up to my Bluetooth speaker. Fair enough. And you're now in the man cave. Okay, awesome. Okay, good. Glad it's not on our end, but hopefully you can hear me now. But great to have you here with us. And I can see that you are pumped up for the Buck game later on this evening. No doubt going to be a good one. And it is a miss. So Australia just not finding any luck. It is a miss indeed. So Portugal breathe a sigh of relief there. Grateful to come away with not conceding points. But here come Australia. So on the halfway line, McDermott now brings it all the way from the right-hand side out to the left. And here they come again. Now out into the centre. Nice little back play here. There are numbers, a bit of space. Eventually taken into contact. Take McDermott then out to the right-hand side. Shipping it into big number 1, Bell. Right, Donaldson looks for a bit of an up and under just outside the 22. So it's a good distance kick, but a bit too far to be contestable, and Portela deals with it easily. And then I think he fires it inside to Guedes, who then finds a clearance kick, but he does kick it directly out, and it was caught outside the 22. So we'll come all the way back then for Australian lineout in the Portuguese 22. So unfortunate, unforced error there by Guedes. I thought he had a fantastic touch finder, but just forgetting sort of where the ball originated, and that was indeed outside all the Marcelo, absolutely, it is going to be very tough if that remains a red, or turns to a red rather, but I don't think it will. But we've seen less be given for a red. Right, come on, Australia. Valentini steaming through 5 meters, lovely over to Richard Arnold, over the line for a try, and just like that, Australia said, you know what, we don't mind if we miss the 3 points, we'll just score a try instead. So that almost came out of absolutely nowhere. The Aussies coming onto the ball with pace, which is fantastic. Rob Valentini doing what Rob Valentini does, running through people, and then Richie Arnold in great support, and ultimately getting his name on the scoreboard here. So yeah, good run from Bell there, nice and straight with pace. McDermott finds Valentini, who picks a hole there on the inside, and then a good offload off the deck. So great work from the Aussie forwards there, linking up nicely. Good presence of mind, and what a good try. So Australia hit back, which is probably good for the course of the game. Not good if you are a Portuguese supporter. We are 8-7, about 19 minutes in. Kick to come. So Donaldson shouldn't have any issues with this one. Finds his way. So no issues there. William there saying, so happy for Portugal to get the opening try. It'll be so great if they can get a second. It'll be tough because they seem to have lost some of their starting momentum. Yeah, we'll have to see. They started really slowly. So we are going to see here from Amaja Kelly, the referee, about the yellow/red card. But Portugal started really slowly with almost no possession. Oz looked like it were in great form. But then they managed to turn around. So it's all about momentum, right? Being able to swing the game in your favor and taking advantage of it. So we do see that yellow card stay a yellow card. So Battencourt there, Pedro Battencourt will breathe a sigh of relief. And so will the entire Portugal or Portuguese sort of rugby-loving nation. And we get underway once again. So 10-7, 20 minutes in, Valentini now collects, and he's going to run it up the field, still within his 22. Close to the left-hand side, McDermott, no real option to box here. Gets it out to Donaldson, put under good pressure by Marquez. Donaldson doesn't find touch, instead finds Portela, opposite number 10. All right, big number 8 for Portugal, then hammers it up to Freitas. Marquez to the right-hand side now to his number 5, Bello, driven sideways. Marquez now to the left, to the big man. Nice little offload there from Taja. We've seen him do that a couple of times. Thought Bell was in over the ball, and absolutely he was. So the Australian number 1 doing really well to get over the ball and win that penalty. Portugal, they're just a bit frustrated with that decision, but he did excellently, and some smiles on the Aussies' faces. Vince saying, game over, check in later for the Bok Tonga game. Don't go anywhere, Vince. It's not game over. It's 21 minutes done, mate. Still plenty of time in this. An opportunity for Portugal to get back on the scoreboard. Ben Donaldson, with an absolute laser of a kick, puts it, I mean, on the 5 meter. Like, I mean, that was so close to being a dead ball. It was probably, he was clenching hard. But what a fantastic kick. Now you feel here, Australia surely must convert from this opportunity. Keep that momentum in their favor. They do go to the middle to Richie Arnold. Strong driving more from the Australians. Portugal struggled with this early on. Have they been able to rectify any mistakes? Does stop. But they are inching forward. They do get the penalty, and it is a try. So Australia here now looking to be in command of things. And I think it might be Porecki there who comes away with it. So good work from the Australian forwards. Way too easy there. The Portuguese players just need to sort out basics. It is indeed the captain, David Porecki, who comes away with that try. So 15-7. Okay, Vince, grab a coffee. Appreciate it. Grab a coffee, but come back. Although it is not looking great for the Portuguese side at the moment, but still plenty. Let's have a look. Hoping that the card stays a yellow. Yeah, absolutely. So it hasn't stayed a yellow, which is good. Says William, and then out wide play far more quick. It's like a sevens game. Yeah, Portugal we know can play some decent sevens, but at the smaller sort of tougher nitty gritty areas like the scrum time, like the driving more, they are being let down at the moment. But they can still turn it around. Well, I say that, can they? So not long left on the yellow card now. Ben Donaldson with the conversion. No problem. Slots it nicely. So Donaldson kicking well. 17 points to 7. Very, very strong shift here from the Australians. Ricky driving for the line there. Good dive, just being able to get under some of the Portuguese defenders. AMX saying no yellow card. It's, well, still a yellow card on my side here, but just a couple minutes probably left on it. So we get underway once again, and Valentini has come off and Lyoto has come on. So potentially an injury worry there for Australia. Anyway, it was a good clearance kick, but the Portuguese have decided to take it quickly, and Guedes running it up the field almost halfway line. Yeah, just a minute left on that yellow card. Marquez then out to the right-hand side here, finds Tadja, who manages to go down into contact. So worrying about Rob Valentini, such an instrumental player to the Australian side, such a strong ball carrier, gets them such good go-forward ball. Little dink over the top by Marquez, hoping the ball bounces kindly. It doesn't really. Australia able to tidy that up well. Now we start to see good old Mark Nawakantiawase with ball in hand, and they said he's got it off to Foketti now in tons of space, eventually taken down. So here come Australia with all the momentum and possession. Ball goes kind of to nowhere. Tate McDermott, not the best pass ever, but there are people and there's space. Richie Arnold finds Korombetti. Can he finish? Does not able to finish. Just a meter from the line. You have to feel there is another try coming here. Just careful not to do obstruction. Drives for the line, but it is indeed held up. Ref saying play on because the ball is still available. So, but then it is try time. And who was it? But it looks like Bell coming away there, came onto the ball with pace and scored. Difficult to stop a man of that size at that speed from that distance. So yeah, good work from the Australians there. Angus Bell there scoring. Oh, I see, Alex. The match is over because of the yellow card. I see. I'm with you now. Yeah, hopefully they can get Betancourt back on the field. They do seem to be sorely missing that extra man there. But great work from Nawakantiawase, able to start, get the ball loose and set free for Ketty. And then great work here from the Australian backs and forwards linking up nicely. Korombetti, you thought potentially maybe a stiff arm there, sort of an in and out. He had some space to work with. But anyway, Angus Bell comes away with his first try of the game. So Australia looking like in a good position here. As we know, they do need the bonus point win to realistically stay in the competition somehow. But there are 3 tries in it, so looking like they're on a good track to get that bonus point. With still about 14 minutes of the first half. Yep, I think, Alan, I agree with you. Very likely that that we will see a bonus point win here from Australia, unless Portugal can look to upset and prevent them for the win. Right, surely that yellow card is done. I'm just waiting. It's still up on my screen, but when we last checked in, it was less than a minute, and so I do feel it's been over a minute from that. We might see him come back on, and Portugal should be returned to a full complement of 15 players. See Tadja there shaking his head, unable to keep the Australians out, and indeed, the yellow card is done. So Australia really capitalizing on that man advantage. But Portugal do have a scrum now on the right-hand side in the Australian half. So they will look to see what they can do with possession hand. It was looking positive from Portugal. They were playing some really good rugby. But ever since that yellow card, it's, yeah, just, well, you can go check out AMX's comment there. That's exactly what it's done for them. It's just stopped, put a huge handbrake on any sort of momentum that they had after that first try. So yeah, Lyoto is on for Valentini. We hope he's okay. I didn't quite see anything happen. If you guys maybe caught something I didn't, let me know what happened to Rob Valentini, if there was any explanation given or you saw anything. He did that try assist with Richie Arnold though. And probably went straight off after that. Okay, scrum time just outside the Australian 22. Short on here, Marquez goes quickly, then fires it out to Appleton. Appleton out to Portela, finds Guedes. Guedes cuts back inside now sideways, but strong tackle from the Australians. They are all over it. Here come the Portuguese forwards. Tall number 7, Nicolas Martins taking it up. But then number 3, Pereira getting caught behind the game line and driven backwards. So the Australian defense looking strong. Marquez, Portela out to Appleton. Short little pass there to Battencourt, who is driven backwards. Marquez then comes to the right-hand side here. Oh, solid tackle. I think that was from Tom Hooper. Marquez. So Portugal driven back. They were on the 22. They're now close to the 10-meter. So not making much ground through. They're going to have to try something different. Again, looking for space. It is number 6, Wallace, David Wallace here on the right-hand side. Marquez tries a little pick and go, but I think ultimately loses the ball in contact, and there is a knock-on. So no real way through there for Portugal. The Australian defence, though, will be stoked at that. They looked really solid, just driving the Portuguese back, not allowing any opportunity to get through. William choosing Cock there instead of Bell in the official Rugby World Cup fantasy game. Yeah, I hope it works out for me. I mean, as we said last night, if you had Darcy Graham and one of my mates, Kel, well, you guys know Kel if you watched him commentate on some of the games, he triple captained Darcy Graham last night. So I think he got like 500 odd points just from one player. So I'm sure he must have been absolutely elated. But in terms of stats, though, there for you, William, I don't have it just off the top of my head or on hand. I can try to find some of the scrum stats for you. But I know Mark later will definitely be taking you through that coverage and have those stats for you as we see there South Africa and Tonga later tonight. So make sure you do join us back here on Forever Rugby. So James Slipper, they're just getting a little bit of attention, but it doesn't seem to be too serious. And then later next week, New Zealand, Uruguay. New Zealand looking to put in another big performance like they did against Italy. Chat Sports, evening, mate. Good to have you back here with us. Missed quite an action-packed first 30 minutes. It was a little bit slow to start, but Portugal finding first blood in a try. Already Oz got the first points, I guess, and then Portugal with the first try. And then it's been all Australia since, unfortunately, from a Portuguese yellow card. But now Portugal returned back to 15 men and hopefully can get some of the momentum back. So we are having an Australian scrum then, still in their half, just before the 10-meter mark. Scrums look pretty solid from both sides. I think Portugal just winning the one scrum penalty down on the 5-meter. McDermott feeds. It is steady, but Portugal with a strong second shove here, and it does eventually go down. Shelley says play on, though. McDermott then out to his back line. Little pop pass in there. Lovely breaking run there. The Australians are through in all kinds of open space, looking for support. There's no one with him. He's absolutely taken off. This is, I believe, that was number 12 for Ketty there. What pace he did. I mean, he's all the way up to the 5-meter. Stellar run from the Australian. It was for Ketty, number 12 there. Great pace from the inside centre. Australia looking dangerous here. Finally finding some form. You wonder where this has been the whole World Cup, but potentially better late than never, at least to end on a positive note. Here they come, picking and going around the corner. You do feel like it is inevitable. It's driven backwards once again, so 2 meters out. McDermott really having to dig for that ball. It's a bit slow, but they do go wide. Donaldson out, cut back inside from them for Ketty, and the ball almost bobbled loose. But the Portuguese players, you do think, have to be over that. I thought they were in with all shot there. McDermott sniped around the side, but taken down. Nagatuwase then out to the left here. Portuguese defense looking good. Can they maintain this? Nagatuwase then back at scrum half. Out to Bell. Try scorer. He drives it a bit further, just on the 5-meter now. Slow ball. So penalty advances. The Portuguese not rolling away. So I'm not able to keep that discipline. And they do earn themselves a penalty there from the ball being stripped. So exciting stuff. You do think that the Aussies should have converted that, and all the momentum, had the Portuguese defence absolutely scrambling, but they did incredibly well to get back and prevent that try. But you do feel like it's potentially inevitable. Chat Sport, it seems like the Aussies are slightly better this game. Yeah, absolutely. Looking to found some kind of form. And they are just one try away from getting that bonus point. Obviously, still have to look to win the game, but so far they're in a good position to do so. Valentini now is coming back onto the field, so definitely it must have been an HIA, which he has passed, which is excellent stuff. Nice to see Rob Valentini back on the pitch. Yeah, the octo goes off until his services are potentially needed again later in the match. Right, but Dave Parecki, captain and try scorer Dave Parecki, now looks to throw into the lineouts, and they do so. They find Richie Arnold at the front. Again, really struggled with this driving more, but Portugal have won themselves a penalty there. So I think there was a bit of blocking, says Nika Amokasheli there, the referee. So Australia just making a key error there. Felix the Fox saying, if you're colorblind, how the hell does this look though? Yeah, and that's why World Rugby kind of went for the kits, right? What they stipulated about having is a light and a dark kit. And so I imagine this is Australia's light kit and Portugal's dark kit. And so in terms of colors, you're not looking, but you're actually looking for the saturation or the intensity, I suppose. You pick up on that a bit easier. So I think that's why they did it, right? And that's why South Africa had to play in their sort of second alternative kit against Ireland, because their turquoise patterny one was still too close to the Irish green jersey. While I've been chatting though, Portugal have been doing an excellent job at driving this ball upfield with the rolling maul. They're doing a good work. Marquez picks and goes. Yep, finds Portela back inside there to his number 14. Then Stotti still on his feet, driving well into Australian territory. Marquez again, the Australian defense having to shift. It does go loose, but it's gone backwards. I think Portela trying a little kick over the top there, but Andrew Kellaway just calls the mark. Again, Portela, I wonder if that was the correct decision from the Portuguese number 10. He had them on the back foot. He was going to collect that ball. So Kellaway then looks to hoof it upfield. Wants to find touch just to slow things down again. Not a great clearance kick, but great line out here from the Portuguese. And then just driving that ball forward. So saying to the Aussies, hey, whatever you guys can do, we can do as well. And Marquez making a nuisance of himself. Nice linking up with Portela and then into Stotti, who's been quite excellent today, the number 14 for Portugal. Afsal, coffee? Yeah, I mean, if you're offering, I'll definitely have a coffee. Thanks. Right, Portugal then go back to the line out. It does come a bit loose, and Australia are able to come away with it here. So unfortunately, Portuguese not able to maintain any sort of that pressure, which would have been great. I think if they could have got on the scoreboard again before half time, making it maybe 14-24, I think that would be a competitive score to go in with at halfway. Timber, where you at, mate? You were hoping for 25 points at half time. But let's see what we've got here. Good, strong run there, I think, from the Portuguese 11, Rodrigo Marta, but ultimately brought down on his 10-meter mark. Portela then, another little chip over the top into space, but no one really there for Portugal. Not neatly collected. Dominant tackles, 10 to Australia, only 1 to Portugal, so the Aussies making their tackles felt. McDermott boxes. Finds a winger. Then they look to shift it out to the left, which they do. Once again, here comes Marta. Marta completely through the defense. 4-on-1, out to the left-hand side, and Portugal, was he in? My goodness. It was number 7, Nicholas Martins, who we think has scored, but there was a tackle so close to the line. So we looked to see if he's gone out into touch, but it was number 11, Rodrigo Marta, who just sliced through any sort of defense. I think he went through untouched. So we are going to look at the TMO replay here, but to see if he managed to get that ball down without going into touch. As I said, I think 14-24 will be very competitive. Let's see. It is Kellaway coming on a diving tackle here. Oh, I think he's going to be out. He's out, I think. Yeah, definitely out there before the ball is grounded. That's really unfortunate for the Portuguese, especially for Nicholas Martins. He was taken out in touch just by a couple of centimeters. This game is literally a game of centimeters, and the coach not too happy here. But here we see Marta just stepping on the inside of Australian 14, Noah Kantawase. And he had support on the inside. Wonder potentially what could have been. Really unfortunate. But see, Vince, aren't you glad you came back? It was very close, mate, to them scoring again. Temba, how's it saying? I'm here. Things looking good. I'm watching on the phone, also watching soccer on TV. I'm having double fun. Temba sounds like a lovely way to spend a Sunday evening. So happy to have you here, mate. And I hope things work out for you as well. All right, Australia under the pump then on their 5 meter. Ball goes a bit skew, but the referee is going to have a reset on that one. Wasn't too happy with the way things were. Still not out of jail yet are Australia on the 5 meter. Just under 4 minutes to go in this first half. Short line out. It does seem to have been disrupted by Portugal, but I think ultimately falls with Australia. McDermott has it. Gives it to Valentini. Valentini back on the field and does an excellent run there, getting over the advantage line. McDermott now will look to box this. McDermott clears, does find touch, but still Portugal with the momentum. We've seen the momentum shift in this game many times before. So 3.5 or 2.5 minutes really left in this first half. The Portugal crowd here getting behind them and trying to get them amped up, because you feel like this might be the last attacking option or opportunity in the first half for Portugal. Really desperate to get on the scoreboard once more before half time. Taja sun directly in his eyes, and that is a horrible line out there. Horrible line out, unfortunately. So Australia come away with a get out jail free card. Dermot back to Donaldson. Donaldson then hoops it downfield. Well taken by, I think that is Guedes. Looking for an opportunity. Is he going to kick it? Is he going to run? He does. A little chip over the top. But again, lots of traffic in the way there. Valentini collects. Finds Kellaway on the left-hand side. Andrew Kellaway then held up. But now a tackle. So takes it to ground eventually. McDermott out to the right. Valentini once again with his hands on the ball. McDermott, Donaldson, out to Angus Bell. Angus Bell running over people like it's his job, which it is. Right, out to the right we go. Donaldson then. Again, better from Australia. Portuguese defense not looking bad, but they are walking them backwards, are the Australians. Now we come back out to the left-hand side. Just need something more. It's a bit flat from the Australians at the moment. Going sideways. Advantage to Australia, not releasing or not rolling, which was an interesting call because I didn't see a player on the ground there. Thomas Appleton asking for clarity. He looks as confused as I do. I don't know if that was the right call there about not rolling away. Potentially it was in that split second that allowed him to get his hands on the ball. So 24 points to 7 at halftime. It is quite kickable. It'd be interesting to see. I think, if you're Australia, you think potentially go for the try, the bonus point try. Oh, that is very harsh from Amakusheli there. I think he penalised number 13, the try scorer, Pedro Batancourt. I feel like he rolled away very quickly and got out of the tackle. So I don't know if that's the right call. But anyway, can't change it now. Right, Alan, we'll see you again. So we are into the red, 40 minutes. And the Australians go to the back of the line out. Off the top, Tate McDermott. Here comes Gordon Betty absolutely firing into the line, but the ball is knocked on. And that will take us to half-time, guys. So 24 points to 7. I think things were looking a bit dangerous for the Aussies there, but they've managed to shift the momentum around for them. Really appreciate the conversation in the chat so far. Marcelo, I'm with you. The yellow card, it did sort of upset things for Portugal, but they still know they're capable of that kind of performance. So hopefully they can come out in the second half and once again take it to the Australians. But guys, I'm going to head out for about 10 minutes and then I'll see you shortly to take you through the second half of this game between Australia and Portugal.
Hello everybody, Stevie P here from Forever Sports, and I'm here to tell you about BOYLESPORTS, the official betting partner of Forever Sports. Across all of our channels, they are one of the leading betting companies in the world and have recently launched in South Africa with an amazing offering. You can get a 1,000 Rand welcome offer. For the rugby, they are giving you 25% payout boost up to 2,000 Rand on the Springboks winning the World Cup, as well as an extra 50 Rand bet when you stake 250 more on rugby during the Rugby World Cup. It is your one-stop betting shop. That is BOYLESPORTS. Come and join us in the community. Check the links in the description to sign up. Get yourself an account and make sure that you are winning big with BOYLESPORTS.
Hello and welcome to Forever Sports. My name is Reese. I'll be talking to you a little bit today about one of our channel partners, BITDEFENDER. BITDEFENDER is a global leader in cyber security. BITDEFENDER is committed to defending people all around the globe against cyber attacks, as well as to transform people's digital experiences. In the next 6 months, Forever Sports will be covering major tournaments such as the Rugby Championship, the Premier League, the remainder of the Formula 1 season, as well as embarking on the biggest Rugby World Cup YouTube campaign ever. To ensure that these are all a success, it is imperative that the Forever Sports channels and platforms remain uncompromised. And with BITDEFENDER, we can be assured that our cybersecurity needs are being taken care of. To read more on BITDEFENDER, please be sure to check the links in the description of our video. Once again, thank you very much to our partner, BITDEFENDER, for joining the channel. I've been...
Right, hello everyone, and welcome back to just before we get to the second half of this game between Australia and Portugal. And what a first half it's been, sort of a tale of two sides really. I was with all the possession early on in the first 3-4 minutes, getting the early penalty, but Portugal then able to swing that round their way and come away with a fantastic try again with a lovely cutout pass from Thomas Appleton out to Pedro Battencourt, who saw his way over the line. But then, unfortunately, Battencourt's shoulder found an Australian player's head, which saw him get a yellow card with a review, but it remains a yellow card. And he went off for 10 minutes. And boy, did the Australians take advantage of that. It was then all the Australia show as they started to pile on the pressure. And ultimately, we got to the point we are now, 24 points to 7. Now, Portugal had an absolutely fantastic opportunity to score one more try before the half. But unfortunately, it was, I think, Nicholas Martins who was driven out by a try-saving tackle from Andrew Kellaway just before the try line. So really unfortunate for them. But fantastic, guys. Awesome to have the engagement in the chat there. Richard's got an interesting concept here about these high-scoring games in the World Cups and potentially having sort of two tiers to it, where you have the top 20 teams in the first tier, the next 20 in the second. And then hold a World Cup with both groups, each playing in their own competition. Yeah, I think that could work again for game time. I think it's more about how do we get games outside of the World Cups, right? Because, for example, like we know South Africa, France, New Zealand, Australia, they're going to have test matches every year, whether it's a World Cup or not. We know they've got their own tours where they do inbound tours, outbound tours. They go visit other countries. They have countries visit them. We know they're part of staple competitions like the Championship or the Six Nations. But it's about the sides like a Portugal. What competition do they play in, year out? Where is their league to play in that competition? And importantly, play against good competition, because that's, I think, why we can largely attribute Argentina's rise from where they were to where they are now to their involvement in Championship Rugby, as well as their Los Pumas or Jaguars team coming into Super Rugby for a while. And Fiji, I think, have sort of bucked that mold a bit potentially, because they're in the Pacific Nations Cup, but again, that's not really facing a top tier nation one side. You've got Japan, Samoa, Tonga, but it would be good for them to play against the Australians, New Zealanders, potentially the Drua, right? Having that almost all Fijian sort of squad side in Super Rugby there has helped, and maybe that's what it needs to be looked at. Have a domestic team, but again, what league are you playing in? So, yeah, I think it's just about finding these guys consistency, ways for them to consistently play good rugby. So yeah, very interesting chat. I think I can't remember who it was. I think maybe it was on a fan forum. Someone had said that someone had asked ChatGPT. They said that if you needed to improve rugby as a sport in terms of the difference between tier one, how would you develop these emerging rugby nations? Jacobus, excellent here, entertaining game, just a love of rugby. Congratulations, France, for hosting a successful World Cup. Yeah, it has been pretty good, hasn't it? There've been no issues, I think, that we've heard on our end, and we definitely know Stevie P's having a fantastic time out there with Rassi. If you're not sure who Rassi is, I'm not talking about Rassi Erasmus. Go check out the Stevie P's Instagram page as well as the channel. I'm sure we've got a bit about Rassi. But we are underway in the second half here with Australia now from left to right, getting us into the game. It does find Marquez. Corbett hunting him down, but he coolly switches with Guedes, who then looks to clear and does indeed find touch. So nice exit there from the Portuguese. Dylan, I also think the Tier 2 nations should have an annual World Nations Championship at a neutral venue so they have a chance to get some games. Dylan, I'm absolutely with you for that, my man. I think the more games, the better. Rudy in the chat, Rudy Rudes. Excellent to have you here, my brother. Good to see you shining. Where's Go Box? Box later, but we'll have to see how they do. So in this game, we're back on with Australia, Portugal, and the Portuguese are able to disrupt an Australian line out there on halfway. So Portugal now with some early possession in the second half, but not for long because Marquez kicks it over the top. I think he was going for the 50-22. Corbett doesn't collect that cleanly though, but able to eventually get that under control. Hasn't looked very solid, has the winger. Portugal take the restart quickly here, so line out throw in. But again, the Australian defense, massive shot. Guedes seems to be in some pain. Corbett there. I think he took my comment personally and took it out on Guedes. Apologies to you. Here come Australia. Lovely little offload there. Kellaway taking it down into touch. Ball going forward. Bit scrappy here. And everyone's looking around as to what is going on. But it is a knock-on eventually. So frenetic here at the start of the second half. I think both teams looking to get that early possession. Guedes stepping back inside and a massive shot from Cornbetty. And surprise, surprise, no arms from him. But that just seems to be the way he tackles and no one bats an eye. Like I remember a similar shot on the Makazola Mapimpi. There's no wrap there, no attempt to wrap. He's got his arms out, but it's a huge shoulder hit on Guedes, who grimaces as he goes down. He is receiving some attention for that. I think it was just a shot to the sternum. But I don't understand how Marika Corbetti's never been called up on this. It's kind of like the Owen Farrell thing, how he gets away with it so often. Just a bit of a stinger, I think, on his arm. Anyway, play goes on. While we just wait for play to get started, once again, massive thank you guys out to our channel partners, and that is, of course, with BitDefender and BOYLESPORTS. So if you'd like to know more about them, please check them out in the description down below. Again, BitDefender's got a whole bunch of cool features that they can offer you. Their microphone monitor is one of them. Again, looking at which apps are actually using your microphone, because I'm sure we've all been there, where you say something and then 2 days later it pops up on your ad feed. So it does come out the mouth here at the scrum, but Portugal able to come away with it. Marquez out to Portela. Portela long skipping pass to Banancourt. Banancourt then out to, I think it is the number 14, Storti, who's still on his feet. He's going sideways. No obstruction, but able to get that ball back to his side. Now Marquez looks to the left. Portela or Guedes, there's not really anyone out this way, so Portugal lacking a bit of structure here, but still with ball in hand. In the Australian half, this is good. They'll look to convert. Portela getting around Robert Valentine, looking for the offload, but no one there. Marquez, Appleton, Battencourt, lovely swift hands there. again, just kind of shifting it out and eventually taken out. So the Australians using the touchline really well as their 16th defender. And it was number 7 again, Nicholas Martins, who just can't seem to help himself as he's gone out into touch twice today. So, but good little passage of play. Portugal look to disrupt the Australian line-out. They don't, well, they do kind of, but Australia's still with the possession, a bit messy here. McDermott will ask Slipper to help him out with a box. As well as Tom Hooper. McDermott does box. He is outside the 22, so got to keep it in the field of play. Does so. Guedes, good take, running into his own players. So Portugal, can they look to counter? No way to the left, Portela decides. So they go back to the right-hand side. Got a strong run there from one of the Portuguese forwards. So finding no way through are the Portuguese. So now they're going to try a big up and under, see if they can force an Australian error or get the ball back, but they don't. Ben Donaldson takes that excellently in the air. Great aerial skills demonstrated by the Australian 10. Now here come Australia out to the right. They'll be looking to attack from deep, not kicking away possession. McDermott goes back to the left-hand side. It is still with Australia, a little bit messy, but keeping the ball in hand. Gorbetti now ball in hand. Rob Leota is back on the field. I think so is Valentini still, so Leota on for someone. Getting involved early in the second half. Ball comes loose. Nawa Kantiawase struggling. But the Australians earn a penalty here for offside and then gain another 10 meters. Samuel Marquez deemed to be slowing down play. And again, he protests his innocence, but always difficult when a 9 says, "Oh, sir, I don't know, I didn't hear that." You know, always practicing the dark arts are the number 9. So Ben Donaldson now will look to get this down to the corner. Not as good as that first kick that he got, which pinned him right down, but they are inside the Portuguese 22. So another good attacking platform here for Australia. You do feel that potentially if the Aussies score next, it is going to be a bit of a runaway. They'll be ecstatic with that bonus point win. We are seeing James Slipper come off. And potentially his last World Cup. I mean, I say potentially, like World Cup game, you know, if Australia don't make it through, I doubt we'll see him in another 4 years' time. But it is number 18 whose replacement, Fa'amu Usili, comes on. Right, Australia win the line-outs. They go to number 6, Tom Hooper. It's often a favourite jumper of theirs. It is at the back with Angus Bell. It is rolling up the field, but eventually brought down. Angus Bell now breaks off, sort of comes to the right. It'll stop and start from him. A good meters made here from the Australians, so looking lethal. Richie Arnold, ball in hand. McDermott, Valentini taking it into contact. About 7 meters out now from the try line. They wrap around again to the right. Leota, strong tackle there. Mangituasi, lovely pop pass, and Fraser McWright is over for a try in the corner. Try to Australia. Nice little work there from Nawa Kayintawasi there. Naya Kayintawasi doing well to get the ball loose and finding Fraser McWright running around the corner, scoring a try for his team, although Leota is still down, seems to be in some pain. So good solid run there. Wow, it's just knee into Tadja. He looked to be in some real pain. We hope he's okay. That does not look good. A little 2-on-1 here. Fraser McWright did well to finish it off, just outgassing the Portuguese number 5, Martin Belo. To the line. Is that game over? What do we think? Are they still in it? Yeah, Alan's absolutely right. They do have a bonus point now. And if they get the win, then they've given themselves, well, not the best shots, but given the circumstances, it's the best shot they could have given themselves. And then their fate is all in the hands of Fiji next weekend. Still obviously in this game because Fiji unable to secure that bonus point win. Against the Georgians last night. Leota gets up. Sorry, it's not Leota who's down hurt. Who is that is in quite a bit of pain? Actually might be coming off the field. Yeah, his knee just got absolutely taken out. So just waiting for confirmation on who's coming off. Well, Donaldson looks to kick. On the right-hand side. It's been pretty good, Donaldson has tonight. Does he curl this one back in? He does, but not enough as it hits the right-hand upright. So score remains 29 points to 7, 8 minutes into the second half. Yeah, Alan, absolutely. The Fiji game is huge, pivotal. And we'll have to wait and see. Wales, although breathing slightly easier, obviously they are through and qualified. And now it comes down to what can Fiji do in their final game. Okay, so Portugal get us underway once again from right to left, deep into the Australian half. Valentini collects. He knows his role. Takes us just outside the 22. McDermott back to Donaldson. Donaldson upfield doesn't find touch though. To Portela. Portela looks inside, looks for space. You can see identifies some, but straight down the throat. But we do have a penalty here for Portugal. One of the Australian players pushing a Portuguese player off the ball. We did see someone penalised for that last night, I believe, in the Scotland game. So refs are looking out for it. It is number 18, Faya Amusili, come on. And just a bit of a lack of discipline there, and a fantastic kick from Portela. So as it stands at the moment, Australia are second in the pool, but remember, they've played all 4 of their games. So they're on 11 points. So as it stands, Australia are through. However, Fiji still have another game to play. So we will have to see what they can do. And I believe that game is against Portugal. So again, all odds would be, or all betting odds you think would be in favour of the Fijians. However, that form against Georgia yesterday wasn't the best. So Portugal will not surrender that game easily. Speaking of, here we go. Portugal with the line out on the 5 metre on the right-hand side of the field. Great attacking platform in the second half there. You feel like if they are to find a way back into the game, this is where they need to do it. First job, win the line out. They do that. Come off the top, shift the contact point. The rolling ball does go to ground, but legally. So 3 metres from the try line. Now the big man will look to pick and go. 2 metres from the try line. Here come Portugal. 1.5 metres. They do have the penalty advantage. Out to the wide side they go. Thomas Appleton doing amazingly to avoid tackles and stay on his feet. They do have a penalty advantage, which is great. License to play here. Marquez looks to the left-hand side, gives it to the big man, number 3, Pereira. Again to the left-hand side. Portugal doing well. Australia have to maintain discipline. Ball comes loose. Marquez out to Portela. Portela, long looping pass and out into touch. But they do have the penalty, I believe, for offsides. So here they come. What do you do? Scrum's been pretty solid. Line-out looked pretty good. But we have seen teams go for good old tap and go plays, which is something we've not seen for a few years. So nice to see that being in the game again. Portela kicks to the line, so they are indeed going to go for the line-out. Once again, guys, massive thank you to all of you joining and watching. If you've just joined us and you haven't already, please make sure you smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Excellent work there. And vote in our poll. We've got who will win this clash. Potentially have another poll coming up in a bit about do we think Portugal can find a way back into this game. But make sure you vote in that first poll before we get there. Right, sort of a redo for Portugal here. They did everything right in the first one. They do not do it as neatly. In fact, they don't do it well at all. The Australians able to scoop that ball up. It is Fraser McWright, the most recent try scorer, who comes away with it. So Portugal losing that opportunity to come away with some points. Frustrating for the Portuguese team as well as fans. In such a good position there, but the line-out's just not going the way it was planned to. Unfortunate stuff. An overthrow there. The jumper, well, not even overthrow, the jumper just seemed a bit slow to it. Fraser McWright coming away with it. But while we just wait for this play to get back in, guys, once again, a huge thank you to Boyle Sports. We've got some score predictions. If you think you know what's going to happen, definitely check out Boyle Sports. Go put your money where your mouth is. They will give you up to R1,000, right? Up to R1,000, they will match you. That's basically a free R1,000. And if you're not sure where to start, check out Chris Rowe's pro tips. Little quick lineup though. Portugal here underway, so straight to the front. And then we're away into some space. Martins going up the field. So here come Portugal. This is better now. Finding their way back into the Australian half. Although I think Fraser McWright has stolen that ball through witchcraft. Somehow he's got it for his team. So will the Australians look to counter? They kind of go wide, but then identifying the space and kicking it downfield, forcing Portugal to potentially kick it back. Guedes then looking at home. Someone is there for Oz, looking for the 50-22, not finding it. Kellaway doing the same. But again, bit of a nothingy kick, centre field. Portela just watching it run away. And I think Portela then looks to kick and clear. So you could say Australia winning that territory and possession game, again, forcing Portela to kick it out. Not much the young number 10 had to do there. 54 minutes in, still 29 points to 7. A little bit of football skills here from the Portuguese 10. So he brings that ball under control. Few replacements now we see happening for Portugal. Some of the big men up front as those legs get heavy. Miguel, come on, Portugal. Yeah, Miguel, absolutely. Hopefully they can get back into this game. They've had a few opportunities. They do disrupt the line out here, so that is better. So Fernandez is on for Costa. 16 is on for number 1. But Portugal not really wanting to run with it in their half, looking to try and gain the territory advantage. Now we see Guedes again doing the same thing, trying to identify that space, but kick down the straight in the middle. Now Australia's turn to play a bit of kick tennis, trying to find that space, trying to force the error in an uncomfortable position. Portela then. He finds a good kick, but McDermott takes it quickly. Lovely long pass from him, says put it up high. Kellaway says, nah, mate. The forwards must be absolutely furious because they were just running back and forth within like a 10-meter window. Kicking meters. Oh, as he found the 50-22, that was so close. Cordovetti doing so well to keep it in there. I do feel like something has to give soon. Marquez then fires it inside to Portela. Portela now saying, okay, we're going to run it, but not finding much way through there. Finally, so the forwards will feel like now we can get hand on ball, but it is dropped forward. So all of that, I think it was the captain, Thomas Appleton. After all that, we have a knock on. So finally get some hands on the ball. And that's a bit unfortunate. Eddie, hi, Omo people. How's it, Eddie? Great to have you here with us. Miguel, for just being there is a huge pride for Portuguese rugby fans. Yeah, absolutely. Miguel, it's great to see them here. We've been talking about how do we give these sides, a better chance in the World Cup? Like, it is fantastic that they're here to represent the nation, to inspire. Like I think I saw Uruguay's first try being shown at schools, back in the home country, and kids just absolutely losing it. So it's awesome to see that that's inspiring, rugby players for the next generation, and hopefully, drumming up more support and awareness for it. Hopefully the same thing is happening for Portuguese rugby. But no, they've shown moments. Your question there, what do you think about Portuguese rugby? They've shown moments of really good play. They've taken the Aussies to task in that first half. Really unfortunate about the yellow card. They had a great little trick play, I think was against Wales at the line-out, getting their try. So they can play rugby. It's just about that consistency, and I think Richard was having some thoughts about how do we get them more exposure on the national stage. Maybe we have different tiers and competitions, and I think name of the game is just consistency in minutes, getting in good minutes against good opposition. So, where do we include? Do Portugal join a league, with sort of an Italian league to say, and then with Italy, and then maybe a relegation structure into the Six Nations, and how does that look? And Yeah, so I mean, the options are there. It's possible. Matthew Dixon, Portugal about to make a comeback. Wouldn't that be amazing, Matthew? Great to have you here, mate. It's been on, Matt. You've not been wrong. The Portuguese have had their opportunities, but not able to convert that pressure into points, unfortunately. Australia doing well to keep them out, as the Australians have a scrum here on the halfway mark. Scrum does go a bit messy. It comes out on the Portuguese side. The referee says play on, so we do indeed play on. Over the head pass from Marquez, out we come, baton court to Guedes. Guedes tries to cut back inside, hot stepping, lovely out the back pass. Appleton then to his big men. Marquez looks like he is down. Again, the Portuguese just maybe not being patient enough and try to kick the ball away. So they do penalty. Yeah, everyone thought there was a stop in that scrum. No one really knew. Maybe a bit of a late hit there on Samuel Marquez, which he's receiving treatment for. We'll see it here in the slow-mo. Take a bit of a over one. So, is it the neck? It's not technically the head. But I'm sure they'll be having a look at this. It was 12 for Ketty there. The Portuguese fans absolutely livid at that. I think it's just a penalty, though. The referee saying basically you've got a penalty. You can choose. Do you want it here or there? Marcelo making his thoughts known really strongly. That's a red. Yeah, I definitely do think it's worth a look. It's a high shot. It's not quite the head. It is a bit late. I think Portugal have every right to sort of be a bit aggrieved by that. I think at least a yellow card with the review. So that is a tough call there. Interesting, Amakasheli not reviewing that. So here again, we see clearly the ball passed. I mean, if you look at it from the other angle, there is contact on the head. Don't know how that one has slipped through the cracks. I often do. The ball person there just got the sweatiest towel returned to her from Taja. She didn't look too happy with it. Anyway, okay, Portugal in a good opportunity here to attack. Find the line out. They do. Martins takes it well. They set the driving more. Goes sideways at first. They splinter off. It's good forward momentum from Portugal here. Australia careful not to bring this down illegally, and they have indeed done that. So it is a penalty to Portugal. And Marquez takes it quickly. Okay, now, can I have a word, says Amakasheli, with Tate McDermott, who I think is the captain at the moment on the field. Portuguese fans really getting into it, asking, imploring for a card. I think McDermott being told to have a chat with his team. The Portuguese fans making their grievances heard. Taja hoping to go for a quick line out, have the easiest try he would have ever scored. Eddie Jones on his feet. Right, another good attacking opportunity here for Portugal. They've been here before. Right, finds Martins. Rolling maul, driven sideways. Feel like here it comes, second shove. Another penalty advantage. You feel like this has to be a yellow card if it's not a try, potentially both. It is a try. Try time at Portugal. Good work from the Portuguese. Excellent to convert that pressure down into points. The fans losing their minds. Good work. And it is Taja who comes away with it. Definitely deserves that try. Excellent work from the Portuguese side there. We might still see a card being given here because there was an infringement for collapsing or involving that maul. So, yeah, Portugal, absolutely, William, I agree with you. Portugal doing well up front, so the great power and the rucks and mauls. We might see a yellow card here because he is going to the pockets. So it is a yellow card for Australia. And wait for confirmation there on the number for you. So now Portugal with a man advantage. Can they look to do what Australia did and put some real points on the board? Oh, no, we used to go to the TMO box, which is never good before a try, because potentially this might have been knocked on or not scored. that would really rain on everyone's parade. Ball does look to come loose there. It is number 18, if I almost certainly getting in the way, but difficult to see what happens afterwards. Very clear that it does become dislodged, but almost looks like to be regathered. I can't really imagine what's going on. Have to wait and see. Well, we've all celebrated here for the Portuguese, and all that celebration might be a bit premature. I think the yellow card will still stand, though. The Australians, I think, are definitely a bit frustrated. But the yellow card coming from, sort of repeated infringements down in that zone, and then a yellow card. It is very close, William, absolutely. I do feel like it's being knocked backwards and then regathered. So if it was me, I'd give it a try, but I'm not an official referee, probably a bit biased here as well. You will always want to see these sides do well enough, to keep enthusiasm and inspire sort of more rugby players. William, I was thinking exactly the same thing. Penalty try potentially. Again, if the infringement hadn't have come, they would have been over the line. So yeah, I think you award a penalty try even if this try is disallowed. But you've given the yellow card. So it is 16 there, yeah. Who kind of it's difficult, William. I don't know if it is a guaranteed try there because there's still some way to go, right? They're on the 5 meter there. Australian players then, I don't think you can say that try is guaranteed. I don't think we're gonna. So try disallowed, everyone. After all that, no try. Really unfortunate. The Portuguese fans are livid, understandably. That is really frustrating for them. But all they got to do then is go back and score again. I say that like it's easy. The Australians will look to tighten things up, but they know they can do it. Let's go to the line out again. Let's see that driving more. Tadja, you can see, is a man inspired. He's put in a great performance today. I think he's been excellent at line out time. I think his jumpers have been a bit slow. He's also been great in the field of play. Right, Portugal, they go to the front. They set the driving more. Once again, gets spun around. Ball comes loose. It's knocked on. And it's going to be an Australian scrum. So gutted, man. Absolutely gutted. I'm with you. Just give the try. But it is not to be. Cruel game. Yeah, very unlucky. They did everything well. Not sure how that ball came loose there. It looked like it was doing good. Maybe a bit of confusion between Tadja. Yeah, he's just livid. Tough stuff. Really unfortunate. Okay, Australia, though, not in a safe position just yet. Still a 5 meter try. Alan, absolutely, I agree with you. Very cruel. It's a cruel sport sometimes, this game. Yeah, but you do feel like they have been in some good positions, Portugal. Early on in the second half rather, down in that corner, unable to convert. Then down in this corner, unable to convert. As close as they've ever got, though. Here we go, big scrum the Portuguese will be looking for. Not popping up, but ball comes out to the back line. And here we go, number 22. Although there seems to be a jersey change because I can absolutely confirm that is not Carter Gordon running with ball in hand there. Right, Guedes looking to try and find a way through, doesn't. Appleton. Oh, Appleton absolutely melted in the tackle. Gets up quite slowly. That was a monster tackle. I think it was indeed 18 for Amusili. Maybe with a cynical foul play tackle here. We are going for a TMO review. Might be that hit on Appleton. Looked like a big hit. It didn't seem high from the angle. Or maybe it's earlier on. All right, leading with a forearm. Yeah, I don't think you can do that. So yeah, forearm to the head. That's an absolute no-no. Pretty straightforward. I mean, I think that for me is at least a yellow. I don't know why there's such a lengthy discussion about this. Yeah, chat sports saying Australia trying their best to get Portugal back in the game. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'd be amazed if it's just a penalty. I do feel like that's at least a yellow card. Chat sports saying red. Yeah, so he's going to the pockets. It is a yellow card. So Australia with 2 yellow cards. William, they're also saying red for sure. Referee seeming to think it is. Okay, so it's a yellow with the review. You guys might absolutely saying Australia trying to box, take a walk. Oh, goodness. I can't say that second part of your message, though. Okay. Portugal. 2-man advantage. Once again, they go for the line. They have to come away with points here. Yeah, forearm. Can't lead with the forearm to the head. Can't lead with the forearm at all, let alone to the head. Just weird not to actually put a proper stiff arm out. Anyway. There we go. Front of the line out. Set the driving more. Splinters still at the back. It's a bit neater. Going sideways now. This looks better from the Portuguese side. We do see the backline player starting to come in. Marquez trying to get his hands on the ball just in case it goes down. It does go down. I don't think it's available immediately. We've seen, yeah, and it is blown, and it's a good defense by Australia. Portugal just getting probably a bit too excited there and not able to convert. Just maybe to slow things down, make sure it's nice and neat. But Australia doing good stuff defensively. You have to admire it. As much as we all want Portugal to score, it is good defense by the Australians. Luciano trying to get in there. So I'm trying to look where. Yeah, it's their own momentum that kills it. You go over, and then the Australians just throw bodies on top, and it's never coming out that way. Do you feel like there was some space here on the blind side, though? Yeah, as I said, William, absolutely. We need an Eddie cam. We need an Eddie cam the whole time. I want like a small box up in the corner of my screen, just with Eddie's face the whole game. You can see how much it means to Richie Arnold there to keep the Portuguese out. Chat Sports, I think you're absolutely right. Pretty even quickly on the tackles. Tackles made 103 for Oz, 100 for Portugal. Tackles missed, though. Australia missing 19, Portugal only missing 11. But Australia making far more dominant tackles, 11-2. But Chat Sport, I agree with you there in terms of Oz will look to slow this down now. You've got about, 18 minutes or so. Got a healthy lead. You've got 2 men down. Yeah, run that clock out and slow things down, absolutely. So Karevi, that's exactly number 22 on my team sheet here is Carter Gordon. So Karevi is in the 22 jersey for that forearm to the face, and we'll have to see if that does get upgraded to a red. You guys were saying definitely a red card for you, Oaks. I wonder if the bunker system will agree with you. So we feel like we've been here before, and we have been here before. And they are throwing Noah Kanitawase in there at flank position to try give the scrum the best possible opportunity. So Valentini picks and goes around the blind side, making good meters. Nice pick up from the number 8. Yeah, Australia just going to crash it up a few phases, wind down the clock on both those yellows, potentially red. McDermott now. Boxes very close to a charge down. Does find touch. Portela takes it quickly inside to Guedes. Guedes shifts it along. One more, you feel like has to go. Okay, we're into some space here. Martin's into lots of space. He's got support on the right-hand side, but no pace with him. Gets up, recollects. This is good from Portugal. Marquez now out to Martins. Martins knocks it on, and it is a scrum advantage. So the Portuguese showing the will to play. They want to be here. They want to play. They're doing things right. It's just, see the frustration on Martin's face there. Right decision to take it quickly, and then lovely work here to get around Korobetti there, who again just I think been nowhere this game, and unfortunately Martins here knocking it on in the contact. Okay, here we go for the yellow card. Obviously funny because Appleton, yeah, you can see it's going to remain a yellow card. So Appleton not happy with that decision. From Samu Karevi, which again I think is going to be, yeah, quite controversial. Be interesting to hear the mitigating factors on that, why they didn't upgrade it to a red. But yeah, the Portuguese playing some good attacking, exciting rugby, as Alan says in the chat there. Huge respect to the Portuguese. You know, we've seen them play this. It's just, yeah, that first yellow card in the first half really put them on the back foot, although they are 2 men up, so the space is there, and they've really got to look to use this advantage now, if they want to get some sort of foothold in the game. Great tackle there from Dave Parecki. Probably getting his head on the wrong side though. Definitely getting his head on the wrong side between the ground and the player. Yeah, William, I agree with you. Karevi is very lucky. Be interesting to see. Again, I'd love to know the mitigation factors there. Yeah, and he should have passed. Portugal's had miles of space. Right, but the Portuguese come away with a penalty, and they've taken it quickly, and the referee says, play on. Again, is that the right decision? Maybe to look to go to the line again, although they've not had much success there. So, Portugal, they'll be looking for the space. 15 minutes left, and they knock it on. Kellaway clears. Guedes, ball in hand at the back. What can he do? Where can he find a space? Tries to step. He does step inside, but ankle tapped, brought down. Ball is available there for Marquez. Goes to the right-hand side. Out to Appleton. Appleton then to Portela. Out to the men on the right-hand side. Lovely pass there to the wing. Nice little show and go there. Oh, excellent hit. Again, Korombetti. Not Korom. Yeah. Just no arms on the shoulder hit there. Like how we... Anyway, play goes on. There's a huge overlap here. Guedes, had to give it. Guedes inside again. 2-man. There was a 3-on-1 there. Just unfortunately didn't get the ball cleanly. But here come Portugal. Can they hang on to this ball? That's what's let them down in these positions. There's been a few knock-ons. Just need to be clinical with it. Doing well so far. This is good from Portugal. Walking back the Australian defence. To the right-hand side they go. 5 meters out from the try line. Off your feet, mate. You got to let that go. Penalty advantage there. License to play here. Marquez to is number 19. Out to the right-hand side. Again, 2-man advantage going sideways is Appleton. Staying on his feet. Oh, goodness. Terrible pass. But they'll come back for the penalty advantage. And they've got Australia absolutely gassed. Come, guys, take this quickly. Look, Australians are struggling with a 2-man advantage. Yes, yeah, Marquez has got the right idea. He wants to play. The Australians are finished. And understandably so, being 2 men down, covering 15. So they might look to go to the line here again. Maybe the correct call if they can just. They are going for a scrum. They've called the scrum. The big scrum here for both sides. Let's see the Australians breathing hard. Let's see this hit here quickly from Korobetti. Again, no wrap, just a complete shoulder charge. But please, someone in the comments, guys, am I have I not seen that hit correctly from Korobetti there on banner courts on the opposite 13? For me, it just looks like an absolute shoulder charge. There's no wrap, there's no attempt to tackle. It's just to it's taken down. Not that most recent one there on the 11, but this the one on 13 on the wing. Right, game slowed right down at the moment. And again, you see you could see Eddie Jones there calling maybe for someone to go down because it just allows all the Australians to breathe, get their breath, as opposed to keeping them on their toes, keep going with that two-man advantage. The Australians now will just get a chance to recover a bit. Yeah, William, I agree with you. They definitely could have had another try if they're able to play the ball out quicker. Just those small skills there, unfortunately, letting them down. But looking to the week ahead, obviously we've got South Africa, Tonga next, and then out next week, New Zealand, Uruguay, France, Italy. I think, I don't know if anyone's sort of backing the Italians as much as they were. Obviously, we saw what New Zealand were able to do to them earlier this week. So play gets underway once again. Clock is back on. 12 minutes to go. You feel like the Portugal win is not on the cards. It could have been, very much could have been. They had that opportunity close to the end of the first half, which was disallowed. Then they had, second try now disallowed close to the line. They've been down in this position, just unable to convert. So short arm here for Portugal. They'll probably call another scrum. Just a minute left on Fayasella's yellow card there, the 16 for Australia. Deala there with a big sigh in chat. Michaela Sutton, great to have you back in the conversation. Hope you've been all well. Okay, reset, scrum time, 11 minutes to go, 10 and a half ready. So we reset, we engage. Marquez feeds. Strong scrum by both sides, it does. Penalty advantage coming the Portuguese way. They're right at the line, good drive, just short, but try time. Excellent pick up. I think it is from the Portuguese number 20, Rafael Simões. It was a good, strong, solid scrum from the Portuguese forwards. And Simões there just able to pick up, drive for the line, and with that second placement. So here come Portugal. The fans finally a reason to actually cheer for a good cause. They were obviously livid with the foul play being done as well as the disallowed tries. So Portugal now will look to Marquez kick this pretty quickly and get things underway. 10 minutes to go. It's not quite a game just yet, but who knows? If they're able to score quickly again, then definitely game on. Marquez, no problem with that kick. Does well. 14 points to 29. 10 minutes to go. Here we go. Absolutely, Marcelo. What a dog game. It's been back and forth. Good work from the Portuguese there, just out-muscling the Australian forwards and then scoring from the back there. One, down he goes and shimmies around. It gets that ball down. Excellent work. Yeah, the turf got absolutely cut up there, and the guys have been on the field trying to mend it. But good stuff from Portugal. Okay, so one man back on the field for Australia. So only a one-man advantage now for the Portuguese. But they'll try and milk every minute of this. And it is Tudger coming off. I think he's had an absolutely immense effort, has Mike Tudger. He salutes the crowd there. Excellent work from the big number 2. I think he's definitely an inspiration for all Portuguese rugby players. He's been really impressive. So Oz get us underway. They kick to the left-hand side. And here come Portugal. Martins taking it into contact. They look to run it from deep, recognizing that they're going to have to keep ball in hand. Lots of numbers this side, but not that much space. Benacourt upended in the tackle. Yeah, Marcelo, just one more. 1 or 2 more. We're not asking for much more. 1 more gets us definitely back in the game. Converted try, 21 points to 29. That would be quite something. Okay, I think Marquez has gone off, so we do have number 21, Bello, on as a replacement scrum half. I think Marquez has had a fantastic game. But it is with the Australians now. And they look to counter from broken play. Dermot off as well. Finesse Leah Iwase on for the scrum half. And it is a knock-on from the Australians, so the Portuguese will have the ball. All right, so going lost forward there, it was big old Pone Amosili lost in the contact. What will a bonus point for Portugal do for Australia? Alan's asking in the chat. Very, very good question. I don't think it does much, to be honest, because I think Australia still come away with a winning bonus point, correct? They still scored the 4 tries. They still come away with the winning points. I think it just gives Portugal a bonus point, but they won't get the winning points, Alan. So someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it upsets the maths too much. Obviously, a Portuguese win, though, that then does it. Right, Portuguese scrum out to the right-hand side. They go. Benacourt, long looping pass, but it's out into touch. So again, just unfortunately trying to force it a bit too much there. He did have Portello as an option and didn't have to go all the way wide. You can see there's number 10 just bemused or confounded really as to why. Just a little pop there would have been good. We would have had a 2-on-1. And unfortunately, this is it, right? This is what it comes down to, is that game time experience and having been in that situation before and making those same decisions. Looks like a lovely evening out there. Sky is a lovely shade of pink and purples. Right, Australia line up, they go all the way to the back, and here come Australia. They're not done just yet. Karevi back on the field, and he's already making his impact felt almost straight through the middle. You do feel like if Oz score here, it is game over, and they've got numbers all the way to the left-hand side. Richie Arnold out to Angus Bell, eventually brought down on the 5-meter. Dangerous for Portugal here. Huge defensive effort needed by the Portuguese. Australia 3 meters from the line. Cornbetti picks and goes and finds the try on the left-hand side, and it's just far too easy for the Australians. I think that's that, ladies and gents. Still 5 minutes, but I think a Portuguese upset is unfortunately not on the card. So both yellows off, and the score is correct. The score is the score right? Asks Bram. Yeah, it is correct. 34 points to 14. Again, just being a bit too easy for Australia to score from there. Again, we've seen how hard the Portuguese have had to work down in that space. But it all comes from that unforced error of that long pass out into touch, turning over possession. Corbetti, despite his several no-arms tackles, is still on the field and scoring tries. And I think we said Korevi is lucky to be on the field with that forearm to the face. So Donaldson looks to kick from all the way on the left-hand side. Arguably maybe one of the tougher kicks tonight. Again, we see a lovely shot there. And doesn't make the kick successfully. So it remains 34 points to 14. Yeah, see Joe Goldie in the chat there. Apologies for the delay. As I said, coming to you from the Okavango Delta in Botswana. So are streaming the game and asking a lot from the Wi-Fi. So we'll refresh in a bit to try and get it as close to your guys' viewing of the game. But 34 points to 14. 4 minutes to go, or 3 minutes soon. Portugal, I think, have not been their own worst enemies, but there were definitely a lot of opportunities where they could have looked to capitalize and just didn't. But they've managed to retain the restart. So possession still with the Portuguese, although Bannercourt knocks it on. So it is now Australia's ball, and yeah, you do feel this is well and truly over now. Portuguese having to work very hard at the back here to get out of the danger zone. Strong run there from 23, Cardasso Pinto. Still near their 22 though, but now out, a couple meters out. Ball coming loose, looking a bit scrappy from the Portuguese. Right, they look to bring it wide. They've got the numbers. Do they have the space? Bannercourt now looks to switch inside, doesn't. Martins is there to support. Strong counter-ruck effort by Australia, almost single-handedly done by the 23. Still with Portugal though. Looking to run it from deep. But now recognizing not really making much gain way through there. So 21. Yao Bello will look to box it up the field. Doesn't find touch though. So Australia potentially look for a counter. Maybe a sneaky 50-22. The ball doesn't bounce kindly, but it does for Guedes. Guedes now in broken play. We know he can step his way through a couple of defenders, but doesn't this time. So on the right-hand side, on the 10-meter inside the Portuguese half, Bello. Again, the Australian defence coming up very quickly, not allowing Portugal any sort of time on the ball. I agree with you, William. I don't think the Australians deserve to be 20 points ahead. We do have a knock on there from Martins, who's just, if you want maybe a summary of the game, that's potentially it. He's just not had the best game. He's been taken out in touch a couple of times. Unfortunately, very, very close. That first try disallowed, knocking on the ball on the way there. So we've got 2 minutes to go here. You feel like that is definitely the game. Australia coming away with a winning bonus point. Portugal showing moments of bravery. But I agree with William there in chat. I don't think they deserve to be 20 points ahead. It looks like Rob Valentini is the man of the match. I don't have any strong objections to that. I think he's carried well. He's played well. I think, from a Portuguese side, I think Portela's done well. Guedes has done well. Tudja, for me, has been sort of pick of the forwards. I think he's done really well. But congratulations to Rob. Yeah, Dela. It says it doesn't reflect the spirit and the heart. If only there could be spirit and heart points, I think the Portuguese would be leagues ahead because they have stayed in this game, not able to capitalize on the 2 yellow cards, which ultimately then, just can't get the points. Right, Australia on the attack though in the Portuguese half here. Big number 23, Vunia Walu running strongly. And there is Rob Valentini making more meters for his side. Australia potentially looking to score here before the end of the game, but it comes loose. Knees on the ground, so you have to release. Penalty then given for not releasing the tackle. Chat Sports sort of calling into question some of the refereeing decisions. Yeah, there've been a few. I wouldn't say it's. I mean, you can't. It's difficult to say, right, that they impact the game, but there's definitely one or two where it's been like, well, that's been interesting. But I think for the most part, Amakusheli has been quite good tonight. Yeah, and I'm getting very excited for the Bok game later on. But still 20 seconds left in this game. Portugal potentially with the last possession of the match. They will look to hopefully score one last time. It's a bit messy at the line out. It is collected though, play on, says the ref. So still with the Portuguese. It's an Australian knock-on, so they've got the scrum advantage. And here they come, the Portuguese to the left-hand side. Strong run from them, driving the Aussie defence backwards. Now they go back to the right-hand side. There is space up there. Lovely pop inside to Martins. Be great if he could get a score. Looking to get that ball loose. Sort of pops it up almost basketball style out to the left. But there are no numbers here. So Guedes having to track back to the right-hand side to go where the support is. Lovely step inside from him. Keeping the ball alive. You just feel like the Portuguese don't force it too much. And there is a knock-on. And now Australia with the ball hacking it downfield. Bounces a bit awkwardly, but eventually picked up at the back by the Portuguese 23. He bursts through an amazing gap, does Pinto, still with ball in hand, looking for support, looks to offload, finds it, and then just one too many. It's knocked backwards. This is very, very frenetic stuff. 80 minutes is gone. We are into the 81st. What is that little chip ahead into nothing? If you're Australia, you kick this out. Surely you kick this out. What are you trying to do, Australia? Who knows what's happened, guys? It's been absolutely chaotic. There is a knock-on, but that is time. So I'm surprised Amashikeli has not blown the whistle. I think his assistant referee is coming on to tell him that it is 81 minutes. Yeah, you're a dog, says William. Absolutely. Game over. It is full time. So it is a knock-on. Slipper looks quite relieved. And well, we're still going to have the scrum. But it is going to be an Australian scrum, so you do think they just look to get it out. Alan saying the box game is televised there. Alan, where are you watching it tonight? Are you watching it from home, or are you going to a pub for it? What's happening? Yeah, in the last minute, probably the last play again. If you're Australia, you've got the bonus points. Maybe you're trying to go for a points differential. That would help my fantasy team out, but my SUPERBRU pick, I don't think you have to risk it. Ai toch, says Deala. Solid scrum. And here we go. The Australians, they want to play. Out the back it goes. Donaldson to the winger. Strong run up there to the halfway line. We'll pick around the side, step back inside. Good run. I was very much still looking to score. Portugal will have to look to defend then in the 82nd minute, getting close to 83 minutes. Must be some very tired bodies out there. Turnover. Turnover is good. Here come Portugal down the right-hand side. They'll need to keep possession. Right, now they come to the left, making sure not to be isolated. Looking for, they've got the numbers. Do they have the space? 2-on-1. Bannercourt down the left-hand side. Again, just looking for that support. Tracked down. Tackled well by the 23. Going into the 84th minute. Incredible stuff by both sides to still play this far into the game. Australian defence shooting up, not allowing Martins at all. He's on the ground again, slow to release there. Portugal showing massive heart there. Lovely run from 23, offloading it straight into an Australian player. Again, both sides not wanting to kick this ball out and keep the game going. Little dick over the top. Sits well, and it is a knock-on. And that is going to be the end of the game and potentially some injuries for the Australian and the Portuguese side. But that is it, guys. The game is called. Eddie Jones smiles, a smile of relief there. I think Australia will be happy with parts of that game. But definitely parts that they will look to clean up. Well, if they get the opportunity. Portugal, I think, will be very frustrated and disappointed. They showed fantastic heart and effort, although they were just key opportunities that they did not convert into points. So very, very, very frustrating for them. So excellent, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on Forever Rugby, on Forever Sports. Really appreciate all the engagements and the chats. Always such a pleasure. So to the regulars, fantastic to have you back, and we hope you switch over to the box stream to go join Mark on that side. Absolutely, let's go get ready. Have a fantastic evening all. I think I might be in some of the build-up stuff, so I'm gonna maybe see you on that side. But if I don't, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you guys again next weekend for the final round of pool play. Can we believe it? I felt like just yesterday the Rugby World Cup has started. Anyway, thanks, Gunner Time. Thanks so much, everyone else. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, BOYLESPORTS and BITDEFENDER. And until next time, guys.